Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not
We will bring
relevant.
the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their court.
The fireworks are not done.
I'm getting commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican, boys, verbal Latino.
That's literally not true.
I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Is that correct?
Oh, for Trump's sake.
Good morning, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Great to have you here this morning. Music's a little loud for being this early. Turn it down just a teensy bit. Have to say a big shout out and welcome to Rayanne K, who was first in chat today. Rayanne, congratulations. You are in fact the internet owner. Your promptness and punctuality has earned you a punishment, though. Everything IP related worldwide is your responsibility. Rayanne, congratulations. You are a repeat offender, so you know the drill. Good work and good luck. Good riddance as well. Thank you very much, Rayanne, for being first in chat and kicking off everything that thus follows. Welcome. We are going to be going to the Tennessee versus Blaise Taylor trial. Day 2. One was spicy. If you missed it, both sides of lunch were like the spiciest part of the trial. We had the defense questioning a witness about a text message, the content of a text message that the victim supposedly sent. The only problem was it was a text message the victim received, not sent. That changes everything, especially when it's a text message confessing to using and abusing drugs and alcohol. So that was presented to the jury, and then after lunch, that problem was addressed and fixed, and it got spicy. So if you missed that, you have to go back and watch at least that portion. I'd say the last 10 minutes of the morning stream and the first 10 minutes of the... Turn down the volume, please. Somebody turn down the volume. There. Is that better? The first 10 minutes of or probably 20 minutes of the afternoon stream. And anyway, that'll get you warmed up. Hello. Get you warmed up to how this trial's going. Who objects to the judge? I had to pick my jaw up. Oh yeah, in front of the jury after he made a ruling outside the presence of the jury, makes the ruling. He's following through on that, and you stand up and object. Oh wow, it was good. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're wonderful. I'm in a wonderful mood, mostly because my Tic Tacs arrived. Yes, they come in a 1,000 Tic Tac pack. This is our biggest pack yet. Seems though, no matter how big they package them, it still is like a single serving size. Oh wait, serving size 1 mint. I might have exceeded that slightly. Well, they're yummy. I did not know that was a thing. It's so much cheaper. It's like half the price for this amount if you buy them in bulk. But I will say that this particular one, the reds, the apple ones in here, didn't get colored correctly. They were made wrong, and so they don't really taste like apple as much, and they also look orange, look a different, little lighter color orange. Retro, I do not envy you in the slightest. I've been there in that chair many a time, and have the crowns to prove it. But hang in there, and may the Novocaine, may the aim be true and the Novocaine work for a long time. I didn't realize it came in bags. They do. It actually comes with a free, empty Tic Tac box. So like you can refill it. It says 17 times out of that. You can refill this 17 times. I think I've had 4 of them. All right, Ninnis, glad to be here today. Had a rather stressful day at work. Thanks for providing safe space for us all. Well, as safe as it can be, talking about murder, but we're going to do it anyway. It is what it is. We're gathered here all for the same purpose, and of course...
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day! welcome to Wednesday. I practiced. Whew. It was Tic Tacs. I'm deaf. It's hump day. We're halfway through the work week. That was the best. I think that was the best I've ever done. Unfortunately, I now cannot speak for the rest of the day. You guys just have to talk amongst yourselves. He looked frozen. That was not a trick of AI. That was that was yours truly. Now I got to buy new headphones. I'm sure massive class action lawsuit coming my way. I'm sure with all of your names attached to it. I thought I missed the hump day yell. No, you were not so fortunate, Shelly Beans. You were here for it. So it is hump day. We are halfway through the work week. For those of you who just tuned in and said, "What was that?" We made it halfway through the work week. There's a point where it's all downhill from there, and that was this point. It's all downhill from here. So now I have to sing too. That's going to be a little rough. I might share a story with you in mod chat, Amber. All right, now that I teased it in front of everybody, now it won't go there. All right, let's do the birthdays. If we could. We've got a little bit of time before court starts, so let's get that out of the way. Now that we're all warmed up.
Thank you, sir. You're my new best friend.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to need like extra water for this. I did get thumbs up from all my kids. They came in and gave me thumbs up. Yes, that was good. Which, by the way, we went to play the Ultimate Frisbee this morning as our Wednesday workout. As a family, we went to play Ultimate Frisbee at the park together. Ultimate Frisbee is not as much fun as it used to be. I don't know why it changed. I don't recall running as much as I had to today. And I seem to be a better aim when I was a kid with the Frisbee as well. So, my tongue is orange, green, blue, and red. I ate like a handful of Tic Tacs this morning. I need the caps now on screen. Do we have any birthdays today? I'm looking. Wait for. I know we do. Ever tried disc golf? Yes, we actually played. We played Ultimate Frisbee on the soccer field next to the disc golf park because we have a disc golf park here. Just Ayden District Park has one just down the road. Full like 18 holes or something. It's pretty cool. It's big. All right. I think the mods are punking me. Just 1 second.
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
You've been to the park already? I haven't left my couch. Well, it's just Wednesday, and my wife drives this one. So, yes, she woke me up and said, it's time to go. It's time to start running. S-Bar, thank you very much for Flow State. Also, Tisha sent some sunshine. Thank you, Tisha, for that. And a dog mom gifted a coin as well, which I can't, for some reason, can't show on the screen.
This is not Burger King. People do not get to have it their way.
Only one on the form. Only one birthday on the form. Amber, should there be another birthday on the form?
Happy birthday. You look good.
Amber, is it your birthday? I have to ask. Amber, is it your birthday today? Why are we like 70 minutes late? Hold on. Do I have this? No, low latency. Paging Amber. There we go. All right. I just need it on the screen. All right. Here we go. Wherever you are, if it's legal and you're able, take a deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with the neighbor, and warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. Greeters, thank you. It is Amber's birthday, and I knew it. I was just wanting her to admit it, and she wouldn't. So we're singing anyway. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tabar and Amber. Happy birthday to you. Tabar and Amber, or Clipson's Bad A Vixen. There, that's as close as I came to saying it. He didn't know there was a middle name in Clipson's Vixen, but there he is. Happy birthday. I realize there are many places to celebrate your birthday. A million places you could have been, and a million people you could have celebrated with, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, pleasure, the honor, the joy, that is ours. Hopefully you can turn that joy back to you and make your day just a little more special. Begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP Village, and Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlop's House, Eddie's Grill, Bob Evans, and Cracker Barrel. There we go. You get uncomfortable being the center of attention? Well, we're gonna make sure that happens today. So I was thinking for Amber's birthday, I was going to write a haiku, and then I went for the limerick. But it was early in the morning, and my brain had not yet woken up. So I said, let me just get the creative juices flowing by testing the waters with AI. Right? I was going to save this for Mod Chat. This is the story, by the way. I was going to save it for Mod Chat, but now we're not. So I prompted Grok with the appropriate information about Amber, which I have, and it returned something that was completely different. It was like the timing was wrong, and I wanted to say, write it in the timing of that's the limerick sound, right? Drum solo while we do this. Here we go. And so I thought, how can I tell Grok to do this the right timing? Hang on. There we go. Drum solo done. How could you use the right timing? And the only thing I could think of was a naughty little limerick that I learned many, many years ago that follows that same timing pattern. And it's naughty. I'm not going to share it with you. And so I tell Grok, write a limerick about Amber using the information I have, using the following for timing. And so I put the naughty little limerick into Grok. Well, Grok put Amber into the naughty little limerick. That's all I'm going to say. I cannot share it with you. It was not appropriate at all. And apparently Grok is not good at taking instructions that way. So it wasn't the Nantucket one. It wasn't the Nantucket, I promise. It was a different one, but just as bad. No, not just as bad.
Happy birthday.
Amber, happy birthday. We are going back to court now to get the latest and greatest from the courtroom in Tennessee, where Mr. Blaise Taylor is standing trial for the overdose poisoning, cocaine poisoning, I believe is what the state's going with, of his girlfriend, Jade. Jade was pregnant. She was 5 months pregnant. The baby passed as well, obviously, even though, yeah, it was terrible. It's a terrible situation. Let's see. I think we're about ready. Camera's shaking a little bit, and we're all over the jury, over the flag. Oh, we're getting squared up. There we go. Make those lines vertical. Looks good. Yeah. That's better. It's better. That'll do, Dean. Dean's actually the cameraman's name, by the way. I'm not joking. Dean's pool cam for this. Blaise Taylor is accused of 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of felony murder for the deaths of Ayden, their unborn baby. It is not important in this case whether the baby was actually his.
In front of the Walmart.
There was a belief that it was. And either way, it doesn't matter to this case if it was or and the fact that it may be somebody else's is possible because both of them were apparently non-exclusive in their relationship, and so yeah. Is the Alaska trial on verdict watch yet? Oh man, yesterday was some testimony. You know what this guy did after he found his wife dead? What? You did what? That was yeah. Anyway, defense, I think, is still going. If not, they'll be in verdict watch. I think today we're going to be following that over on the Top Mark Media channel. The thumbnail's already up over there. That one starts at 12:30 Eastern time, and it goes for 4.5 to 5 hours a day. So, well, both sides have rested. So then we're in verdict watch today. It's cooked in Alaska. Yeah. If both sides have rested, we might have a verdict over there today. So it was cocaine he used. Leonard, you know, the test that came back, the first blood test from the victim when she was taken to the hospital after she was transported by ambulance, it did have like extremely high, like freakishly high cocaine and alcohol, and a combination of the alcohol and cocaine, which it does when they're taken together at the same time, which makes them, you know, amplifies the effects. So yeah, it was a massive, massive overdose. Let's see. Happy birthday, Amber. Thank you very much, Lois. Yes, we're going to make sure Amber remembers it's her birthday all day long. Let's see. Oldest boy is 18 today, legally blonde. Happy birthday to your boy. He's a man now. He's a man, 18. Make sure he does the whole draft thing. You have to register for the draft in the United States at the age of 18. I think it's done automatically now with like driver's license, and I forget how it works. But if you don't do that, there's like consequences. There are some like grants for schooling you just aren't eligible for ever. There's some jobs like working for the federal government that you're never eligible for if you don't do that. And I think there's some jail time or something associated with it as well. But yeah, follow the law. It's we haven't used the draft in quite a long, and that gets into all sorts of politics and everything else. So we'll skip that. But yeah, you have to register, 18-year-old boys. I did. You have to do it. You're correct. It's the law. Let's see. I checked the archives. This is the first time in the history of the channel you haven't worn a blue shirt on Amber's birthday stream. It was dirty. It was dirty. I almost wore the red shirt today. As a matter of fact, I might wear it tonight because it's just comfy and I have to do that my TED Talk. You know, my TED Talk about YouTube? I'm doing that tonight for a group of 40 or 50 or so. All right. Camera's giving us the shakes here, so that seal looks like it was beaten out of a garbage can lid. Like just like hammered out of brass or something. A hammer was used in making that. Like each one of those little bullet points, the little dots around the outside, they're sort of evenly spaced, but they're also just irregular enough to know that they were individually made. Somebody spent a lot of time in their basement or garage doing that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. If I missed yesterday, do I need to go back? Melissa P. Here, you don't have to cover the whole day. Once you know it would help to understand some of the players, the different, because there are a bunch of names here. It'll take a little bit, but you do. Oh, it's a manhole cover. It's just how they dragged that in off the street. You do want to go back and watch just before lunch, which is the end of the first stream, and just after lunch, which is the beginning of the second stream yesterday. That was the spicy bit. The tail end of the defense questioning the witness, the medical witness, and then the prosecution responding after lunch to what the defense said. That's where it got really spicy. The defense is a tiny bit shady. Yes, I think they are. I sense desperation in their action, but I also, we've got to give them credit. They are fighting for their clients, and I like that. I just think they need to do it ethically and appropriate. I googled the man from Nantucket, Limerick. Oh wow, yeah. Don't do that one. Don't Google that one. Let's see, Jenny O, thank you for the clapping seal. Appreciate that. I'll be lurking. Sounds good, Melissa. We love zealous advocacy. Yes. This almost went too far, though. The defense sort of got in the judge's face. So much so that he sent the jury back out. That was a little much. We'll see if they dial it back or if they move forward in the same manner. Used to collect those and clean up and polish them. They're very cool. I'd love to have a collection of state seals. I think in some states it's illegal to have the state seal. I mean, it's like protected. I know you can't use it without. It's like a copyright protection, only the cops it's a criminal protection instead of a civil protection. It's funny. Stephanie, thank you very much for the number one dad. Love that. Not liking the defense already. I think it give. I have to wait for my tongue to wake up. Abadi. I like that the defense has 3 very different personalities on it. Right? We've got 3 very different people. Oh, the judge is here. Good morning, Your Honor.
Anything before the jury brought this?
Your Honor, if I could just address this to the court. We had previously filed a motion of limiting number 13 relating to an objection to demeanor.
The mic's not on.
We had heard that back in January. Your Honor has denied that motion with, in my notes, an indication that it was something we could raise again as an objection during trial. I would just like to review our objection to what we have described as demeanor evidence, essentially evidence and argument relating to that Mr. Taylor's demeanor, his reaction to traumatic situations is evidence of guilt. It has become apparent during this trial that a part of, maybe even a significant part of the state's case is that Mr. Taylor's reaction to this situation, the contrast of his reaction to Ms. Jackson's reaction, is going to be part of their argument as evidence of guilt. It is our position that that is complex and potentially highly unreliable, and even under a 403 analysis, highly and more substantially prejudicial and probative evidence. And we would ask that further instruction of that evidence not be allowed in this case. So we'd just like to renew that objection.
Okay. Does the state have other witnesses that you think is relevant to ask them what Mr. Taylor's reaction to things were?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who's that?
Well, it would be, for one, the next witness, Sergeant Smith.
Do you think the jury's, do you think, asking this based on what Mr. Brandon's argument is, the state wants to argue at the end of the case that because of his reaction, he's guilty?
Your Honor, it's all part and parcel of the evidence in the case, a witness's observation of an individual.
Right. I mean,
Direct
the observations is one thing, but then looking at the motion they filed previously, lack of remorse, here he effed up. I mean, is that getting into lay opinions about psychological issues? I mean, everybody concludes it by saying, or that doesn't mean anything. Everybody acts differently. I'm just wondering about the relevancy versus the prejudice. I'm okay with demeanor. I'm just saying, how you then I can't, Mr. Grant, anticipate every question they're going to ask about that. But I guess I just tell the state you had a number of witnesses to reflect that, so just don't cross into conveying to the jury what that supposedly means. Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, let the jury step down. Who is the next witness?
Sergeant James Smith.
Okay, so hold tight for a second. I'm trying to get the audio working perfectly.
And who is the next witness?
Sergeant James Smith.
Just hang tight with you needing to come up and then they need to take a short break.
Yeah, the state using the whole, he didn't act normal, he looked like he was sort of guilty. That's the weakest argument they could present, even if they get it from like 17 different angles. That's weak. He looked guilty to me. And it might present some appeal issues. Nobody yells "all rise" when the jury comes in. They just, people randomly stand up.
All right, good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Let the record reflect all of the jurors on here and the president. If you'll step up, please. Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give us the truth, so help you God?
I do. This way.
Sir, would you please tell us your name and spell your first and last name for us?
James Smith.
JAMES,
And by who are you employed?
Metro Nashville Police Department.
How long have you been with the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department?
For nearly 13 years.
What are your current duties and assignments?
I'm currently a patrol sergeant over at the East Precinct.
And how long have you been assigned to the East Precinct as a patrol sergeant?
At East Precinct, patrol sergeant, I've been there since 2025.
And during your career with the police department, what positions have you held and or been assigned to?
I have started off my career as a patrol officer, was transferred to East Investigations as a detective for precinct level, and then a detective over the Domestic Violence Division.
And how long were you a detective with the Domestic Violence Division?
3.5 years.
In the month of February, particularly February 25th, 26th, and thereafter of the year 2023, what was your assignment?
At Domestic Violence Division.
What does that division do? What are its responsibilities?
Domestic Violence Division's primary objective is really to assist the victims through the criminal justice system or through advocacy centers with our partners in the community. As a detective, we would do preliminary investigations, any follow-up investigations to assist the victims of domestic violence incidents.
And are there other such units in the police department?
Specialized units?
Specialized units?
Yes, sir.
And does the domestic violence unit encompass dealing with homicides?
We're not the primary investigation unit that's involved in the homicides, but we do assist the homicide unit.
Now, to direct your attention to the late evening, perhaps early morning hours, February the 25th and 26th of 2023, were you assigned and were asked to respond to a call to the Vanderbilt University Emergency Department Medical Center?
Yes, I did.
You recall approximately when you were notified that your assistance was needed?
Yes, sir.
When was that?
I don't recall the exact time I was called. I know at some point a supervisor from Domestic Violence Division contacted me between February 25th and 26th to respond out to an incident that occurred.
Was it at nighttime?
Yes, it was.
And where were you when you received the call?
I was at home.
And, pardon me, were you on call?
I was on call.
And so, did you get dressed and
Yes.
go to Vanderbilt?
Yeah, on-call status, since we typically have an hour to respond from the time we're called to respond to the incident scene or wherever it could be.
And with respect to responding and having information, did you have any general information of what the call was about?
Any general information was given to me by the patrol supervisor. Initially, when I received the phone call, very basic until making contact with a primary officer on the scene.
And so when you arrived, you recall approximately when it was you arrived at the Vanderbilt Medical Center?
It would be sometime after 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. that evening.
When you arrived, were there uniformed officers of the Metropolitan Police Department present?
There was, at least I saw one, but yes.
You recall who that first officer you saw was?
It was Officer Lindsay Fish.
And was she essentially at that time in charge of the scene?
At Vanderbilt Hospital, she was on scene. She was my primary contact throughout this incident.
And were there other officers there that you eventually saw?
There were at least one that I might have seen, but I never made contact with those officers.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you ever have any interaction with anyone other than Officer Fish?
No, my primary contact was with Officer Fish.
Now, upon arriving, speaking with Officer Fish, were you directed to one or more individuals who might have information about the matter?
Yes, I was.
And when you initially arrived, did you speak to or see any physician, any doctor or nurse?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you receive information from that individual?
Yes.
And either initially or at some point, did the name Jade Benning arise?
Yes, sir.
And did you initially see that individual?
I did.
And describe that to us if you could.
When I arrived, typically I try to make contact with the victim. At this point, the victim was on a higher level floor. She was intubated, unable to respond, unresponsive, in a room that I could observe from outside. I never entered the room, but I was advised by medical personnel her condition.
And by observing her, was there any reason for you to go into the room at that time or try to interview her? Was she in any condition for that?
No, she was not.
After doing that, what was your next step?
After that, after my observation of Miss Benning, I went back downstairs. I think my first contact or person I interviewed was actually with Miss Jackson. Sorry if I mispronounced her first name, but it was Miss Jackson.
Miss Jackson. I sometimes have that same issue. Where was Miss Jackson when you first came into contact with her?
She was in the lobby area or in near the front entrance or such, basically on the first floor of Vanderbilt Medical Center, basically ER area.
Just want to ask, upon seeing Miss Benning, was she anyone you had ever seen before?
No, I had not.
Miss Jackson, had you ever seen her before?
No, I hadn't.
Upon initially laying eyes on her, what were your observations? Could you describe how she appeared?
Miss Jackson?
Yes, Miss Jackson.
She appeared worried, concerned, I won't say frantic or anything, but in a state where, she had a friend that was in a condition that she was worried about.
Now, at that time, did you know whether or not Miss Jackson had been interviewed or spoken to by any other officer?
I don't recall if anybody actually said they spoke to her, but I asked, I think she was asked Officer Fish if she could bring her to me.
Okay. And we certainly won't go into what she told you, but did you speak with her and receive information from her?
I did.
And approximately how long was that interaction?
Can't give you the exact time, probably 20 minutes.
And based upon receiving that information from her, what did you do next?
After speaking to Miss Jackson, I asked Officer Fish where she showed me where Mr. Blaise Taylor was, and I asked if he could come back and speak with me as well.
And did you come into contact with an individual whom you learned to be Blaise Taylor?
I did.
And is that individual here in the room today?
He is.
Would you please identify or describe
Right.
what he is wearing and where he is sitting?
From my point of view, he's to my right. He's in a blue suit blazer with a tie, light blue, diagonal stripes across.
Our escort for Lake is identified and indicated Mr. Taylor.
Okay.
Right. Where was Mr. Taylor when you first saw him?
On my first arrival, I was pointing out that he was seated near the front door, the entrance to the ER area, near the lobby.
Was there anyone with him?
No.
What, if anything, did he appear to be doing? Pardon me.
He was seated. He was on his cell phone.
Did you go over and introduce yourself?
Call if I introduced myself or if I had him, an Officer Fish, bring him to me to introduce myself.
I want to ask, you're here today in a coat and tie. Is that how you would have been, or at least casual dress that night?
Typically, our response is business casual, which I would have either a blazer or a vest to cover, which we're by policy is to cover our badge and gun.
The reason I ask that is, were you wearing a body-worn camera?
I was not.
And is there any reason for you not having one as a detective?
Typically, my thought is that we don't wear typically a body-worn camera as a detective during this time or at that time, because typically uniforms and body-worn cameras deter people from talking to police. In the sense, it was plain clothes, business casual, vests, identify as officer or detective, but we usually have a audio recorder on us.
I was going to ask, do you have something, though, on your person to record interviews, conversations?
Yes, sir. It would have been a digital audio recorder.
But no video?
No video.
So, upon your initial interaction with Mr. Taylor, what, if anything, did you do and where did you go?
We went to a private room, I believe it was Helfer Chapel Services at Vanderbilt on the first floor. It's unlocked, but we entered there and that's where I spoke to Mr. Taylor.
Now, aside from Officer Fish and Ms. Jackson, perhaps some of the medical personnel, had you spoken to anyone else prior to interviewing Mr. Taylor?
Prior to Mr. Taylor, no.
And were you, or were you not aware that there were perhaps other individuals at the location concerned about Ms. Benning?
I did.
So?
Well, there is a time, I can't recall the timeline. There were the other individuals. I did speak to, prior to Mr. Taylor, Miss Benning's stepmother, and as well as over the phone, her mother, birth mother, and maybe a brief interaction with some friends, but I don't think I actually spoke to them until after Mr. Taylor.
With the court's permission, this question, was that interview recorded?
With
Mr. Taylor?
Mr. Taylor, yes, it was.
And have you had the opportunity to review a recording of that interview?
Yes, I have.
With perhaps the volume enhanced somewhat?
Yes.
And have you also had an opportunity to review a transcript prepared from that recorded interview?
I did.
Your Honor, if I might ask.
Lord,
Looks like we're getting some audio recording. Hope it's good.
Transcript and this envelope be passed to the witness.
Butler bailiff is making a delivery. This guy dresses sharp too.
Sergeant Smith, if you would open the envelope and see if that contains a tag on it that would indicate.
Yeah.
Which is,
It says Sergeant J Smith, a USB flash drive.
and the transcript that you've been handed, have you reviewed that, and is that a fair and accurate transcription of what is on the USB?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move those be introduced as the next number. You see that leave number 9, up number 8.
Yeah. 8. Sorry, please read.
And would ask to publish the recorded interview, and with the court's permission, I have prepared
Transcript.
hopefully sufficient copies for everyone.
Okay, when they provide a transcript, that means the audio is going to be bad.
All right, go ahead and pass those out.
Buckle up a little bit.
Okay.
Defense asked for a sidebar. They looks like they probably have an issue with the transcript, maybe. Let's see what happens here. A little bit of a slow start this morning with the lawyer's style of questioning. But got to where he needs to be and got the evidence in. At least we think he's going to be coming in. So, Lisa, if you go, I'm just going to throw this out there. I bet they have something else for you to buy. He is the butler bailiff. Probably the best dressed guy in the whole courtroom. Do any of you work with metal, like crafting or something like that? I'm looking for a 12-inch by 12-inch by quarter-inch thick copper plate. I realize copper is really expensive right now, but it's for a demonstration with a high-powered magnet. And I know copper doesn't stick to magnets. That's the whole reason. It's a Lenz's law science demonstration. Go to your scrapyard. They have all sorts of great deals and all sorts of metals. But I need just like plain, pure, shiny copper. That's it. I don't know if we have a scrapyard. I don't know what it would come from. I basically have to buy it straight from the factory. Master car.
All right, go ahead. You wanting to play this now?
Yes, Your Honor, if it could be published. And
all right, ladies and the jury, like I said previously, if you hear something different from your recollection of what's being played, then you rely on that instead of the transcript. Okay.
Terrible. What Did he record this in a wind tunnel? Okay, he's mumbling. This is me fixing the audio. Now we're gonna switch to unfixed. Ready? I heard grilled chicken Alfredo. Friends came by. We were there for a little bit. They conversated a little bit. Jay didn't feel well. He called his dad. His dad said to call 911. I did everything they asked me to do. Says they came and told him to carry her over there. Was there any arguments? No. They started the relationship in August, took a break, and then started again in January. She was pregnant? Yeah.
So basically, you're having a date night. You come over there at 7.
So basically, you were on a date night over there at 7, says the investigator. This sounds terrible. Last night I was training a gentleman on how to use a dictation machine, a recorder. It's top of the line. It's a little tiny digital recorder. And it blows me away the quality it has compared to what we have here.
Together around late after. that sense. Alright. There was mention of vomiting. Yes. Did she? So, yeah, when she threw up, that's when I called my dad. Okay. That's when I realized that.
There was mention of vomiting. Yes, that's when I called my dad.
Where's she vomit? On the bed?
Where did she vomit? On the bed.
How many bedrooms are there?
Too many bedrooms? Just the two?
Okay, so she threw up on the bed.
Did she have anything to drink? No, there was no alcohol there. Just the lemonade and water?
Okay, so lemonade, Kool-Aid, and water. Would there be any reason that she would try to accuse you of anything?
Would there be a reason that she's trying to accuse you of anything? No, sir.
Have you guys had any recent arguments?
Have you had any recent arguments? Says she wasn't feeling well, she wanted to go lay down, and she was kind of talking but not looking at me, sort of acting strange. She was kind of out of it. I don't know how to describe her, how she was really. Like looking away and talking to me. Did you take any medication? Not that I know of, but her mom told me she did take something for something. Oh, she had something COVID. Gotcha, Susan.
experiences like this, people have different reactions and stuff. So some people don't understand why people have certain reactions that because they're just comparing to themselves. So there could be some. There's we go through like I go through enough stuff that probably a lot of people we go trauma in the sense of what we respond to and such. But then my reaction is because I'm used to it, or something along these officers' reaction. We're usually calm, cool, collected in that sense. So
the witness is explaining how people react differently in different situations.
What's your phone number?
What's your phone number? Now, defendant's giving his phone number.
But you don't live with her.
You don't live with her? No, I don't.
Gotcha. That's what I've pretty much got. But the thing is, like, any reason, you don't know any reason why she would try to say if you were trying to harm her anyway.
No, I just think so. I think Dr. Judge is kind of like trying to find. I think she was kind of in shock and like she's been very distraught. We all have been. I feel like she's just kind of directed at me without the last person with her. But I'm like, I did everything possible in this situation. I don't know how I feel. Call it 911. Help them do exactly what they're telling me to do. Into the aggression people got there. Even then, when they got there, they told me, let them handle it because I was trying to get with her to them.
Yeah.
So, but,
Alright. No, just double check.
our relationship has got to be a lot better. Like, we pretty much decided on like me and the child and everything, what we're gonna do about it, all that kind of stuff.
Did you clean up or anything afterwards?
No,
Okay.
she, after we ate, she was kind of tidying it up a little bit, but that's it.
Okay, but
Tidying it up and then, but, they're told me to wipe them out and stuff like that.
okay, so you're playing nothing around the apartment itself.
We just rolled to the front door.
Okay. So when medics basically got there, you guys.
Yeah, I was in the house, nobody, the time that this was been a lot, but nobody, to my knowledge, has been here since we left.
Okay. Is it? Gotcha. But it's an apartment, right? Okay. Where's her drink? Or her cup?
It should be, I think she put them in, maybe.
Okay. What kind of cup was it?
Just glass, like it was just glass.
Just a glass. Okay. Just clear glass?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I go over to her apartment and get that glass, there's nothing going to be, and I run it through her lab, there's nothing going to be in that glass?
No.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking is because I just have to go through everything, just make sure.
heard the OBGYN baby's heart rate in there.
I've talked to her stepmom, and I've talked to, I briefly talked to her mom on the phone. I know, like you said, there's, or something, she's got COVID, I don't know, all that. So, I'm gonna go. Alright, so that's all I need. If I have any follow-up questions, I'll give you a call.
Sounds like they're wrapping it up.
Everything else, I'll be back in the office tomorrow as well, so I'll give you a call. But it's just really just at this point, pray for her to recover. The baby's feeling all that's good. What's going on? Medical issue. I will be going to her apartment. Try to look her out. That's all research and stuff. Just make sure. It's not something. There's basic statements made tonight that as much as when we try to take your allegations seriously, but we also, as a detective, is not so much of like just coming in and saying you're under arrest, let's go with this, because someone's saying this, but then it's also eliminating, actually do our due diligence, eliminating, say that, there's no evidence that this man...
It's explaining why they ask everyone these questions.
We don't know, so...
They're eliminating some theories and chasing others. Zipped up his notebook. So now we should be close to done. Exchange a business card. That was terrible. Like, absolutely. That was terrible. He had that all in his pocket, and it just sounded amazingly worse than ever. Nothing really telling. This is the same thing we've heard from the defendant before. They came over, Chicken Alfredo, friends. She felt sick.
In the course of this interview, were you and Mr. Taylor standing, sitting, since we don't have the video, I was just going to ask?
We were sitting.
Okay. And the individual who came in the room briefly, you said was Ms. Benning's stepmother, would that have been Ms. Browning?
The individual that came in, that was speaking the female voice, that was actually Officer Fish.
Officer Fish, okay. Now, with respect to this interview and police involvement, initially you told Mr. Taylor that you're not being treated as a suspect or anything.
Yes, sir.
And was he under arrest at that time?
No, he wasn't.
Was he in custody?
No, he wasn't.
And the reason I ask that is from all of the TV shows, the first thing that happens is, oh, you have the right to remain silent. Is that required?
No, it's not.
And why not?
Typically, criminal activity, is involved once you're placing someone in arrest, to ask any questions involving that criminal act, you have to Mirandize them.
Was that the circumstance here?
No, it was not.
And in fact, when the interview, the discussion ended, Mr. Taylor go back to?
He left freely to leave. He's I don't know if he remained at the hospital, but I believe I left before even he did.
Did you at any time replace him in handcuffs or have him officially detained?
No, I did not.
I want to ask the jury has heard this, heard some of the questions you asked Mr. Taylor. Were those questions as a result of your having interviewed Ms. Taylor? I'm sorry, Ms. Jackson. And having information from her.
Some of the questioning to Ms. Jackson was having Mr. Taylor's second interview were towards that with hers, yes.
Okay. In other words, questions were based on information you had
been provided. Yeah.
Now, one of the things you said that in asking about the glass, the apartment, you said, I believe, I will go to the apartment.
Yes.
Did you do that?
I did not.
And why or why not?
Yeah. So to make entry into the apartment as a residential habitation, it requires a search warrant. A search warrant just doesn't end at my level as a detective. I have to go through my chain of command, which involves the supervisor, which would have been the domestic violence sergeant at the time. The information that was given to me provided their statements, and I think there was additional information that we had not secured that apartment yet. Officers were not at her apartment. There was information that people had been in the apartment. And because that I relay that information to my supervisor, it has to be approved. A search warrant has to be approved by a supervisor first, which at that time, shortly after, I was told that I would not be completing a search warrant that night.
And did you go to the apartment that night? Did you ever go to the apartment yourself?
I did not.
At some point, did the homicide unit become involved?
They did.
And what is the homicide unit? Just a brief overview. What do they do that's different from what you did?
They're a specialized unit that typically just deal with the criminal homicides, any forms, first, second, any type of homicide, as well as any possible or potential where a victim may see to perish or be deceased, that they would investigate those.
How long were you at the Vanderbilt Medical Center? We know at 2:40 a.m., 02:40 is when the interview with Mr. Taylor ended, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What, if anything, did you do after that other than inquiring about a search warrant?
I don't know. I can't recall how much longer I was there at Vanderbilt. After that, after inquiring about the search warrant, it was denied. And then likely going back to the office. Basically, there's a procedure where we type up a narrative of what happened and what we did that night, which goes through my chain of command. So it would have been a couple hours before I even went home.
Before you left Vanderbilt Medical Center, did one or more homicide detectives arrive?
No, they did not arrive.
So when you left, was Officer Fish still there?
I believe so.
And did you speak to Mr. Taylor again before you left that morning?
I don't recall ever.
Or have any conversation with him since then until this day?
No, I did not.
Were there any one or more other individuals that you spoke to at the hospital, if you recall? Now, you told us about Miss Brown, the stepmother.
Besides Miss Brown, there were several friends that showed up. I only recall one name, being Miss Lauren Weber. I briefly spoke to them, and they were she stated that she had entered that apartment prior to police securing the scene or anything.
Did you receive any items of evidence or any personal property from anyone there at the scene?
She shared a photograph.
And did you share that ultimately with part of the case file that's been provided to the defense counsel?
When homicide took over the investigation, it was provided to their unit.
And if you can recall, what was the photograph of?
I can recall it appeared to be a table and had a couple glasses, cups on it.
Prior to your, essentially, the case being turned over to the homicide unit, or perhaps even after it was, did you do anything else with respect to Miss Benning at the hospital?
Yes. Once I was informed that homicide would be taking over the investigation, I was asked to assist them. This was the same day, I believe it was February 26th of 23. Same day, a couple hours after the initial response. To assist them in the investigation as they would obtain a search warrant for the residence, and I was asked to type a draft for a search warrant for blood draw from Miss Benning.
And did you do that?
I did.
And was that done in reference with paperwork? And
yeah, again, with the search warrant itself, an affidavit was provided to my supervisors. The search warrant was approved. I went down to the night court to have the magistrate who granted the search warrant. From that point, I went to Vanderbilt Hospital, where Miss Benning was a medical personnel, which either the nurse or doctor would take the vials. There's 2 vials for a blood draw. Provided them with the search warrant. They did the blood draws. The blood draws go into a property box that gets turned into a refrigerator and a property box for preservation.
Present to observe the blood draw.
I did.
And once just with reference to 2 tubes, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And were those handed directly to you?
Yes, they were.
And you said packaged?
Yeah, I would package them, do a property sheet to turn into property, and then typically after, at some point, I was asked to do what is called a search warrant return, which is basically stating a receipt of what actually I received from that search warrant was the 2 vials of blood, and then a judge had signed off that return, and I had, and then a copy of that return was given to homicide.
And is that standard operating procedure?
It is.
So we have some chain of custody for the blood draw now. That's needed. Everybody's having a drink. Judge has a big glass with ice in it, it looks like. Ice water.
Please, Court, may I ask that this group of photographs be passed over to witness the counsel is reviewed? Sergeant Smith, you've been handed a collection of photographs, but you had an opportunity to review those.
I have.
And you recognize what is contained, depicted in those photographs?
Yes, sir.
Or has those be introduced as for Exhibit 9? That's one. And be published to the juries that I could ask Sergeant Smith about them.
You need the hard copy?
Well, we I think we're ready.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, Sergeant Smith, you see on your screen, what is that a photograph of?
So it's a box that we use when we do blood draws. That's provided by usually our property or evidence room. Top, that left-hand corner is my name. The division I was in, or bureau, DVDs, domestic violence, and the incident number.
I know you're turned away from me. I was going to ask the name. We got it.
Yeah. So
bureau, division,
name, bureau, division, complaint number, or the incident number itself. This goes to our property and evidence department because it is blood. It gets the biohazard sticker on there.
Now, I don't think we've gotten to the point of asking about an incident number or complaint number.
Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose of that, and how is that assigned to a matter?
Any call for service that we receive gets assigned a complaint or incident number. It's basically for a report that we can basically attach it to a report that we can reference the case to.
And is reports, items of evidence, things that come in, are they all theoretically placed under that same complaint number?
Yes, they are.
Now, what is this photograph of? You referenced being a box.
Yeah. So the boxes use the barcode itself. That's done by the property room. I wouldn't have done that, but the box itself is a white box that contains the 2 vials and paperwork that typically goes in with all blood draws. Majority of times you would see these. We would use these for DUI, search warrants, blood draws, and so the back of it is once everything is contained inside the box, it would be sealed. Those red are kind of taped, so they would seal it, and we have to notate our initials and the date that we basically had sealed it.
And it is 2/27/2023. Is that correct?
Yes.
What is this document?
So this is a Form 110. It is a property sheet. As you see in the top right, there's a barcode. Any property receives a barcode that basically can be categorized with our property and evidence division. The middle section would have typically the owner or victim information, basically whose property it belongs to. The last section on here shows the property being the box itself, the blood alcohol toxicology evidence collection kit, which would involve the 2 vials of blood, but it's one complete kit itself.
Under the same complaint number?
Yes, sir. So,
I'm sorry. You referenced a few moments ago about it's a standard one that's used for commonly DUI arrests.
Yes.
And so is the form also commonly used for that?
Yes.
And this form?
This form is included with the blood kit itself. Basically, as you can see, requesting individual information would be myself, incident number, date, time, or offense. If there was any charges, who the Miss Benning's name's on there as the subject that we were drawing the blood from, her information, date was collected, time collected, and by who is done by the medical staff. Since this was not a breath alcohol result or like an actual DUI, those things are not check or NA. And then it would be signed off by me, and since I collected it and I submitted it, I signed off as submitting evidence, and then the bottom part will be done by our crime lab.
And this photograph?
Those would be the 2 vials of blood that was drawn from Miss Benning.
Ones that were handed to you? And
Yes, by medical. Yes.
By you?
I observed the blood draw, and then they were handed to me after they were placed. I believe there's a label, initial under, I think, the properties. The first barcode itself is, I believe that's the crime lab property room, and then there was a label underneath that I would put on there, or sign, or my name, or her information.
And just a different view of the same tubes. Sort of the blank screen.
Oh.
And once that box is delivered to the property room, and was it delivered to the property room?
So for blood draws, typically it has to go to a refrigerated property box. There's one at our DCSO's booking. It was dropped off there. It goes into this. There's a refrigerator. There's a box. It's a locked box that we can't have access to. Only property and evidence have access to it. Which we drop it in, and once it's in there, it's locked up until they collect it.
And again, standard procedure.
Yeah.
Okay. After you placed it in the lockbox, did you have any other contact with that box? And the tubes of blood or anything at all to do with it again?
No, sir.
Right, might be done with the direct questioning. Let's see if they have any more final questions, or if defense gets to go next.
Those were collected photos.
A little bit painful way to start the day, both with the audio and with the slow questioning.
Roger, what number did you say?
No.
Roger, what number did you say?
Big part of no letters, it's just 9.
She'll mark them.
She'll.
A through B or whatever they are. You have them?
But they're in that order.
You are?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I may have already done that, but that's all the questions I got.
All right. Questions that we have of Mr. Taylor?
Can we have exhibits, space exhibits 9, A through D, as well as space exhibit 1, A and B? Please. Detective James Smith, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Edward Jointer. People call me Ed. I'm going to be asking you a few questions.
Yes, sir.
If at any time you don't understand, please let me know and I'll try to rephrase.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to try to reorientate myself to some of your investigative actions. Okay?
Okay.
So, did you interview Ms. Andrea Browning before or after Mr. Taylor?
Ms. Browning, it would be before.
And I just wanted to clear that up because on direct, I thought you said you interviewed Mr. Taylor before you interviewed Mrs. Browning.
No. I think when DA asked if I interviewed anybody before, I think initially I might have said no, but then I recalled saying I spoke to her stepmother, her mother briefly on the phone, and then Miss Jackson prior to Mr. Taylor.
So how many people did you speak to before you spoke with Mr. Taylor?
It would have been Miss Benning's stepmother, mother was on the phone, and Miss Jackson, besides Officer Fish and medical personnel.
And do you recall when you were speaking to Mrs. Bennett's stepmother, Mrs. Browning, that you told her that it was you all's intention to go to Miss J. Benning's home?
I don't recall. I don't know. I don't believe I actually have a recording of that interaction, so.
Would you like a transcript of that recording? Would it aid you in your testimony today?
Yeah.
Just 1 second.
Oh, great. We get to pause while we wait through reading a lot of testimony, transcript testimony. Gigi did not like the caviar. Orientate is a very formal Old English, like 18th century word. It's still proper. It means the same thing as orient, but just flowery.
Okay, what is your question?
Did you have an opportunity to refresh your recollection? Or are you still looking at it?
I just got out of time looking at it.
Had a couple people help me find this one. Don't think this was a Josh find on this one, but
And if you would pay special attention to page 7, second, and get you from the bottom.
Okay.
And now that you had an opportunity to refresh your recollection, do you recall telling Miss Benning's stepmom that you all will go to her apartment?
Based off this transcript, yeah.
I now want to turn your attention to, did you make a report in this matter?
What do you mean?
Like a report, did you generate like an offense report, like a supplement, like a statement?
I did not generate the actual report. The only supplement that I would have done is an email that went through up to my chain of command.
And do you recall in that email you stating that Hermitage Patrol to secure the scene of 522 Lebanon Pike?
Yes.
And that's important, correct? To secure a scene?
Yeah. If there was to find any evidence.
Right. And just so the jury is clear, you talked about a search warrant.
Yes.
And you had talked about some of the protocols and procedures to secure a search warrant.
Yes.
Those same protocols and procedures does not exist to secure a scene, does it?
No.
In fact, a lot of times a patrolman will secure a scene in anticipation of a search warrant, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so in your line of work, it's not uncommon for you to request a scene be secured, is it?
No.
Because you want to preserve the evidence, correct?
Correct.
And you want to avoid contamination, correct?
Correct.
And so On direct examination, you talked about how you interviewed a Lauren Weber.
Yes.
Did you learn that Lauren Weber was a friend of Miss Nigella Jackson and Miss Bennett?
Yes.
Did you also learn that Lauren Weber had entered into the apartment?
Yes.
And do you recall in that email that you sent to the state, you described the scene as contaminated?
I did.
And that's because they went into the scene, correct?
Yes, sir.
I want to show you what's been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 1. Now, Detective Smith, you said you've been with the department for 13 years?
Nearly, yes.
Yeah. Do you recognize either of these individuals that are in this photo?
I do not. I do not. I can't see their faces.
And if you observe this, you see this black strip at the top of this photo?
Yes.
And then do you see the black strip at the bottom of this photo?
Yes, sir.
Does it appear to be cropped to you? The photo itself?
Possibly. I don't know how it was scanned or...
But either way, you agreed with me that the scene was contaminated because they entered into the scene and removed items.
That's how I stated to my supervisor.
And I want to show you State's Exhibit 1B. What would you describe this to be right here? If you can circle that for the jury. That blue, what would you describe that?
Believed to be a comforter or blanket.
And did you learn throughout your investigation that Miss Benning had vomited on the bed?
Yeah, statements from Mr. Taylor, yes.
And you would agree with me that if there's evidence of vomit on that comforter, that is in fact evidence?
Yes.
And it would be relevant to an investigation?
Yes, sir.
And it's definitely something you would want to preserve?
Yes, sir.
Why?
If we had done a search warrant or if I had done a search warrant for the resident itself, it's basically to collect any evidence towards the allegations that had been stated to prove if there was anything. If it was vomit, as he stated, she vomit is basically to collect the comforter, get the vomit, run through crime lab to see if there was anything within the vomit itself.
I want to now show you State's Exhibit number 9A.
Mm-hmm.
And you just testified that if you would have done it, you would have did it a certain way in reference to State's Exhibit 1B, correct?
Yes.
You stated that you would have followed protocols and procedures, correct?
Yes.
And so you didn't have anything to do with the collection of any evidence from the home, did you?
No, sir.
Because that scene was contaminated and that wasn't a part of your duties, correct?
Well, yeah, it seems I advised my supervisor was contaminated and search warrant was denied on my part. And then when homicide took it over, they're the ones that completed a search warrant for the residents.
And so, to my question, you didn't do anything with the evidence at the home, correct?
No, sir.
So that doesn't have anything to do with you, does it?
No, sir.
And like you stated, if that you would have been involved, you would have followed all protocols and procedures as it related to collecting the evidence, correct?
Yes.
And so now I want to turn you to what you were involved in. Mm-hmm. You did collect this blood sample.
Yes, sir.
Can you describe for the members of the jury, can you circle that orange thing right there? Can you tell us what that is?
Can you circle that orange
sticker?
And what does that mean?
Basically, any bodily fluids, blood that could transfer anything, basically it's a safety precaution to show that this is what's in their box.
Detective James Smith, is vomit a bodily fluid?
Yes.
Now, the date of the collection on that was February 27th.
Yes, sir.
2023, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you know why you were asked to get a blood drawn on 2/27/2023 when the medical episode happened 2 days prior?
Basically, the 25th occurred, 27th or 26th occurred, go back out. I was asked to assist homicide. During that time between coming back to the office, assisting homicide, getting a search warrant, going down to night court to get with the magistrate to obtain the blood, and once I received the blood and stuff, I would only assume by the time I got the blood and turned it in, it was at that. I don't have a time. I'll have to see the form, but show the time. But I believe it was at that time. It was February 27th when I turned it in.
And just so we're clear, what is the reason it was collected on the 27th and not the 25th?
Initially, Vanderbilt, how I initially responded, Vanderbilt collects their own blood. So they had their own sample, which I believe homicide had subpoena, did a search warrant on that. When homicide took over this initial investigation from me, they asked me to collect it, to write up a search warrant to collect her blood samples. I believe that was 26, but it was late evening by the time I was back in the office assisting them doing that search warrant, and then by the time getting the search warrant granted and going collecting it, I would assume it would be the early mornings of the 27th.
Okay. And to be clear, you were not the first officer on the scene, correct?
No, I wasn't.
There was multiple officers that was there before you, correct?
Correct.
Now, I want to orientate us back to Vanderbilt. You're there and you're interviewing people.
Yes, sir.
And you recorded Miss Browning, Mrs. Benny's stepmother, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you recorded Miss Najee Jackson's in your interviews with her, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you recorded Mr. Blaise Taylor in your interview with him, correct?
Correct.
You also spoke to a Lauren Weber.
Yes, sir.
Did you record your interview with Lauren Weber?
No, I did not.
Did you learn that Lauren Weber was the individual one of the individuals who went into the house after Miss Benny had a medical episode?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with me that best practices would suggest that you recorded that interview?
It would, but there was a brief interaction, and they briefly told me that they obviously weren't witnesses to the incident or scene, or they did not go to dinner and such, and then just stated that they had been there, had collected some personal property of Miss Benny.
Okay. Did you inventory that personal property?
No, they had handed, I believe that's what the property was handed to, I believe, stepmom, or...
Okay.
Some property was handed to some point because they did not have that property.
Okay. Need a drink of water?
Yeah.
I'll take a moment. Good?
Mm-hmm.
So, you learned that Lauren Weber took some photographs, or a photo.
Yeah.
Do you have that photo?
I do not.
What happened to it?
If any photo would have been handed to homicide, or it would have been it should have been put into our computer, or it would have been in the case file, or I don't have it personally on me.
Do you recall how that photograph was given to you?
Recall?
Yeah.
Possibly airdropped to me.
And would it have been airdropped on your personal phone or a work phone?
Should have been a work phone.
Do you have that work phone?
I do not.
Should have been. I think I'm having a sugar crash from eating too many Tic Tacs.
Detective Smith, is any case ever personal to you?
Personal?
Yes.
All right, what do you mean by that? What do you mean personal?
By personal, I mean when you're working, you're operating in a professional capacity. It's not personal, it's a professional capacity.
So what is your question?
My question is, was there anything different about this case than any other case that you have conducted that would have made it personal to you?
No, sir.
Now, at some point you learned that this could have been the result of a possible poisoning or drugging, correct?
Yes.
And as a law enforcement officer for the past 13 years, have you ever encountered any overdose cases?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you aware that over 3/4 of the overdose deaths in Nashville was for fentanyl in 2023?
How do we get that? Do you know any statistics on deaths in Nashville about fentanyl?
No, I don't.
He doesn't.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, when you had the opportunity to interview Mr. Taylor, you stated that you were in plain clothes.
Yes.
But he knew you was a police officer.
Yes.
And on direct examination, you asked him to step into a private room.
Yes, sir.
Did he comply with that?
Yes, sir.
Did he answer all of your questions?
Yes, he did.
At one point, he described himself as adrenaline, and you said, I can see.
Do you have a copy of the transcript that says that?
Yes, it's the one the state handed you. Did you give it back?
Yeah.
It's evidence.
Thanks, sir. Do you happen to have the page?
Sure, let me orientate you to page 13 at the very top.
This is Mr. Oriented. Your parents teach you no Tic Tacs before lunch? No, I had Tic Tacs for breakfast.
Okay.
What's your question?
Good?
Yeah.
At some point, you told Mr. Taylor that you could see that he was shocked or in shock.
All it says is I see I. So I'm not sure if it's referencing to him being shocked or what it's referencing to.
But you would agree with me that it immediately follows after he says, I just feel like I'm in shock.
It does.
And your reply is, I see.
It does follow after that and says I see, comma, I, and then it's cut off.
I want to talk to you outside of what Ms. Nigeria Jackson told you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find any reason why Mr. Taylor would want to be involved in any type of crime at all?
Say that again.
Objection. Relevance of opinion.
My question was specifically, Your Honor, about evidence. Did he find any evidence?
You already let the attorney step up.
Do you have sleep apnea? Yeah. Where sleep apnea? No. I'm not diagnosed with it, but these are strange questions. The judge, every time you start seeing these strange questions, judge interrupts.
All right, I'll sustain it, Judge.
Like, gives us objection number 11. If I can find the button. Oops, 11 and 12, just 11.
Detective Smith, do you still have a copy of the transcript?
Yes, sir.
I want to orientate you to page 14, line 9.
I think we're up to about 11 orientates as well.
Yes, sir.
You state in there about the importance of doing due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
That's important in every criminal case, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And it's certainly important in this. No further questions.
Sort of ended with a statement.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. There's two.
Who's the next witness?
Next witness is Jennifer Barrett.
Stacy, glad we can help a little bit. This is an interesting case. I think it deserves coverage, and glad we can help with the audio. See if the pace picks up. It's 'cause my wife woke me up super early, like at the crack of dawn, to go play Ultimate Frisbee with the kids in the park. We do this every Wednesday. We go play a sport together early in the morning. It was a lot.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God? Yes.
She brought a bunch of keys with her.
Good morning, Ms. Barrett. Could you please state your full name for the record?
Jennifer Barrett.
And Ms. Barrett,
How do you spell your last name? Never mind.
The Department of Emergency Communications.
what is your position at the Department
girl.
of Emergency Communications?
I'm the custodian of records.
And can you describe, as part of your duties, does that involve any calls to 911 or police dispatch?
Yes, both.
And can you describe, when someone places a 911 call, what type of records are generated by the Department of Emergency Communications?
Well, when the phone call is taken, the call taker will create a CAD report, is what we call it, with all the information in there.
And that information that would go into a CAD report, is that information inputted by the person who's answering the 911 call?
Yes.
And is it based off of the dispatcher's conversation on the phone with whoever's called into 911?
Yes, they get the information from the caller.
And are those calls recorded?
Yes.
And are they specific to a timestamp where that is recorded as part of the call?
Yes.
And anything in the CAD report that is different than what's in the actual audio of the call, would the audio be what you would rely on?
Yes.
Versus anything that's a typed note?
Yes.
Did you specifically review the Department of Emergency Communication records for any calls placed to 911 specific to this particular case?
Yes.
And specifically, did you pull and review a phone call made at 29:38 and 58 seconds on February 25th of 2023?
Yes.
And I have that audio on a thumb drive, if I can ask that that be handed to this witness, along with a copy of the transcript. Do you need any extra copies? Ms. Barrett, did you actually review that 911 audio?
I listened to it, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I would ask to admit the audio on the thumb drive as well as the transcript. And I should have 7 copies and 2 stacks for the jury.
Please let this be better audio. We've got a little bit of...
Again, ladies and gentlemen, the audio will be the both exhibits, the transcripts to assist you. If there's any differences in the two, you have to rely on what you recall hearing.
We've got the victim's blood draw, initial blood draw chain of custody in this morning. Can't think of anything that wasn't new other than that. If you're wearing headphones, you might want to take them off your head right now and hold them a little ways away from your ears. I'm not sure how loud this is.
The actual thumb drive.
Can I have the actual thumb drive? This one's not working, apparently.
Saturday, February 25, 2023.
So far.
21:38 and 58 seconds.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
I'm not sure. It's on Bronson Pike. I'm at a friend's house, and I think she's having an electric reaction. What's the address on Bronson that we need to find her? I don't know. It's an apartment complex. Is there a mail with her? With the address? I'm looking around. I'm just give me a second. I'm looking around. I don't know what's going on. I think she did. Give me 1 second. Okay, are you on Donaldson Pike or are you on Lebanon? Here. Lebanon? Yeah, Lebanon. It's apartment 107. Or is it 1540 Lebanon Pike? I don't know. It's not Burger King. I do know that. Let me look at the one to the front of the building and get the
He doesn't know where he's at. He's trying to find the address.
Yeah, sometimes it's the name of them. Okay, is there a mouthful in the corner there, sir? Is there a what? A mouthful in the corner? I'm not sure. I just passed it. I'm going to... the Ontario, 1522-1550 Lebanon Pike, the Ontario. 1522? Yes. The Ontario, 1522-1550 Lebanon Pike. So the Ontario 1522, she's in apartment 107, and she's at the overdose, that's right? I don't know, I think she's having a allergic reaction. We were getting cookies and painting, and she said she wasn't feeling good, and I went back to the room to check on her. No, and what's the case we disconnected while you're getting up there? What's the callback number in case we disconnected? This number right here. Is it 875? Yes. Okay, and how old is she? 23, 24. Okay, is she awake right now? Yes. Okay. And you think she's having an allergic reaction to food? I don't know. We got cookies and pasta. I don't know what she's done. If she's done anything today or anything, but everything was fine. And then I don't know what's happening. So she got spit coming out of her mouth and she's shaking. So you think it's possibly a reaction to not knowing food? Is that right? I think so. I don't know. I don't think she's allergic to anything. I don't know if she is or not. It could be a new allergic reaction. So are you next door? That next door is cancer? Yeah. Okay. Does she appear to be breathing normally? Yeah. Okay. Does she appear to have any difficulty swallowing? I don't know.
I'm not a doctor. Okay. Is she only 30 questions? Yeah, she's awake. Okay. So can you just gently roll her onto her side right now? Yeah, she's on her side. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because if she's having like vomit or anything else that's coming out right now, so you just keep her under her side right now. You can finger sweep any out, only what you can see of her patient's mouth. Okay. And you can wipe her mouth. Okay. Hello, sir.
He keeps saying she's awake.
Hello? Yeah, I'm in the top. I'm in the top. Okay. Can you ask, is she able to answer if she's having difficulty swallowing or feeling any swelling in her lips or throat or face, anything like that? No. Is she really for I think one of her friends is on the way. Okay. I don't know what to do. Oh, is there anything else I should be doing? Okay. And then, does she have an EpiPen? Do you have an EpiPen? Do you have an EpiPen? I don't think so. I don't think so. She's not responding. Okay. And one of the, so other than her just feeling kind of weak and passing out, does she have any other symptoms right now? No, she's. No, I mean, she's pretty relaxed. She's laying on the side. Okay. Okay, does she appear to have any rash or eyes anywhere on her body that you can see? Not that I can see. And she just, I don't see anything on her legs or on her arms, so she looks fine. Okay. And does her condition look to be any worse? I don't think so. I don't really know how to tell. Okay, no, it's like, because if she's ever looked at reaction, a lot of times the rash, eyes, it'll be redness, her mental status is getting worse, or breathing out. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right, so we already have help on the way. So just okay. So let it stay on the line, or what do I do? So I'm just going to give you these instructions. But do you need me to stay on the line with you until the paramedics arrive, sir? Well, is there anything else I have to be doing? I don't know. Just got, I think there's nothing else. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, because so right now, since she's awake and describing she's moving air freely, she's not struggling to breathe or wheezing or gasping or anything like that. No, it looks like she's throwing up some. Okay. Yeah, so you can go wipe her mouth. Okay, I did. Go wipe her mouth. Okay. And is she freely moving air? Does it look like she's freely moving air? Yeah, she's breathing. Yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna keep her on her left side right now. We're just trying to keep her comfortable right there. Okay. Okay. All right. So just for right now, nothing for any ear drink. Just keep her in that comfortable position right now. Just have her medication there with the paramedics if she has any with her. Make sure you have some. I don't know if she has any medication, to be honest. No, that's okay, sir. And then just be at the door to let the fireman in. And can you look around and see if there's a piece of mail? I just want to make sure, because the building that you're describing has two separate addresses. So I want to make sure they're one separate. I don't think she has any. She got a mailbox, but it's not like it's an apartment, so it's not. But I think it's more of a PO box. I don't know if she keeps her mail. I don't even know if you're a few times. I'm not sure. Are you in the, because it looks like based on what you're describing, are you in the main large building or the smaller one? I would guess the main larger one. I mean, there's multiple floors, multiple doors. Okay, because it looks like on the map I'm looking at, it looks like 1540 is for the large building, and 1522 or 1532 is the small ones that are right next to the street. Anything else that's been going? Okay. No. So it's all I want you to continue to monitor reading along responses for any changes. So if anything else changes, call us back. But they're on the map at 5040, left on mine, over in Urbanage. And she's in apartment 107, cross street from Spence on Cliff Way. It's been playing at the Ontario, okay?
He's asked a lot of times, is there anything else I'm supposed to do?
Give us a call back. Should be right there as quickly as they can, okay? Okay. I think I hear them. Okay, that's awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, you're welcome. All right.
Is there anything else I'm supposed to do? Is there anything else I'm supposed to be doing? I don't know what to do. Is there anything else? Interesting. He said all along that she was breathing just fine. She hasn't been able to respond, but she's breathing. So during the 911 call, apparently, she was...
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Vera, is that the only call that came in to 911 from that scene?
From that scene, yes.
Were there subsequent calls that came in that were not anyone calling from that location or at that time?
Yes.
And were all three of those calls placed to ECC by somebody at Funeral Hospital?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I don't have any other questions.
Good morning, Ms. Barrett.
Good morning.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not you on that call, right?
No.
So you're not the actual 911 operator. You work for emergency communications, right?
Custodian.
Yes.
So your role here is to kind of review the calls and pull the ones that are relevant to the case.
Yes.
So there's a whole kind of team of people that kind of handle the numerous calls that come in on any sort of night.
Yes.
And they're trained, and answer this if you can, they're trained as to how to handle calls, how to deal with people in emergency situations. Is that fair?
Yes.
And I don't know, maybe you can help me or help the jury. They're trained with either scripts or with very specific training as to how to walk people through emergency situations?
They have 6 weeks worth of class to learn the computer and how to talk to people. However, they got 3 months of on-the-job training with a trainer sitting next to them listening to their calls to help them know how to deal with things in an emergency situation.
And I've got to imagine that these calls run a very wide range of kinds of things that people call 911 for.
Yes.
And anything from medical emergencies to, shootings to everything in the middle. Is that fair?
Yes.
And so the people handling 911 calls have trainings on how to deal with all sorts of different calls. Is that right?
Yes.
They have trainings on how to deal with all kinds of, maybe the right word is temperament, or all kinds of reactions, or whatever the kind of state that the person on the other end is in.
The on-the-job trainer can help them when it comes up. Maybe they haven't experienced it yet. So if they experience it, the trainer can coach them in what they need to do and say.
Okay. Sometimes, I guess, is it fair that maybe almost no two calls are the same, that almost every call is different?
Yes.
Is that fair? So you indicated that you pulled several calls related to this incident. Is that right?
Yes.
Was this call that we just listened to the very first call that was made related to this incident?
Yes.
So in terms of the timeline, this was the earliest in time that was made related to the incident?
Yes. And
it was the only call that was made from that actual location?
Yes.
Now, I can't remember the exact address, like 1522 Lebanon Pike, is that right? Is that right?
As far as I can remember, yes.
As far as you remember,
Yeah.
That's fair. I appreciate that. And we just heard the call and read the transcript. During that call, the individual calling has been identified as Mr. Taylor. provide some information and is sort of walked through some kind of instructions. Is that kind of fair?
Yes.
And based on sort of your review of other cases and lots of other calls, is that conversation fairly consistent with 911 call training?
Yes.
Early in that call, so the initial report is Mr. Taylor indicates that he thinks his friend is having an allergic reaction. That's kind of right at the beginning, right?
Yes.
And at some point, the call operator says, so it's the Ontario 1522, she's in apartment 107, and she's having an overdose.
Yes.
So something like that, where a call operator says, hey, I hear what you're saying, but he or she changes on their own that it might be an overdose. Is that part of training?
No.
So is there a circumstance where a call operator may listen to what's being described and say, this doesn't sound like an allergic reaction, it sounds like...
Objection, Your Honor, to speculation.
Okay, I mean, you're asking her to...
I'm asking about...
her opinion about what the operator was doing?
No, I'll clarify the question. I'm asking about training. Is it part of call operator training that they might listen to symptoms as described by someone calling and say, I'm going to change either in the CAD or in the dispatch what type of call this is?
No.
Do you know why in this call? And if you don't, you don't.
She wouldn't know why.
Okay.
Objection, speculation sustained twice in a row now.
So, based on this call, well, let me ask this question. Does Emergency Communications maintain a separate CAD report from the Metro Nashville Police Department?
Yes.
So you have like your own CAD that generates information that's provided to dispatch?
Yes.
And so those reports have to be requested from Emergency Communications.
I'm sorry, say again.
I'm sorry. To get those reports, those have to be requested from Emergency Communications.
Yes.
As opposed to when police are dispatched, those are requested from the police department.
Yes.
And those indicate the communications between emergency and the fire department or the EMS.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Grant. Is that right?
Will you redirect? Thank you.
Thank you.
She's got all the keys. There's your thumb drive evidence back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you'll step down the hall, we'll take a short moment break. All right, and Mr. Joyner, do you have any, just so we fully, rather than a bench conference, but do you have any proof you want to offer on any issue you're alleging involved some constitutional violation of Mr. Taylor's rights in terms of the interview by the detective at the hospital?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, well, as I said at the bench, I haven't heard any constitutional issue, even though it wasn't brought up pre-trial. not allow that evidence in. And who would the next state's witness be?
Dr. Olashuga?
Art will take 15 minutes, so not. Okay.
15-minute recess.
15-minute recess. Get a little bit of a break. We're gonna it's a recess for our ears. What was asked? He asked if the defense had any objections or to the constitutionality or a violation of the defendant's constitutional rights as it relates to the audio recording of the interview by the detective. That's a very specific question for the judge to ask the defense, especially because he says that's you didn't bring anything up beforehand and you didn't now. So maybe he was asking sort of, are you going to object because there was no Miranda rights? Well, it wasn't a in custody interview. It was voluntary. But yeah, the one we already heard. It's weird for the judge to back up and say, so was that a problem? Specifically, was this a problem? And the defense is like, no. It's like, all right, good. We're all good. Brief recap. It's been rough on the ears this morning. I kid you not. It's been difficult. I'll say this: the pace has been a little slow this morning as far as questions go. Getting information in. We've had a couple witnesses that have sort of given additional testimony that mirrors or matches. Doesn't really add a lot to what we've heard already. We've got the 911 call. We've got the interview from the detective of the defendant, where through very terrible audio, we basically heard the same thing. You know, he says, hey, we first hooked up in August. We took a break for a while. We got back together in January, early January. Sort of been seeing each other 2 to 4 times a week. Since then, we had this thing where she was going to make chicken Alfredo, and some friends came over. It was at 7. They came over. They left, and then she started, having some sort of allergic reaction, which he's told everybody it was an allergic reaction. He's told, and then other times he says that 911 told him it was an allergic reaction, which is not true. But she was having this allergic reaction. She started sort of acting funny where she was talking to me but not looking at me, and it wasn't making sense. When it got bad and she started throwing up, he called his dad, and his dad said, what's happening? Yeah, call 911 and do whatever they say. So he hangs up, calls 911. On the call to 911, he sort of describes the same things, what happened. Doesn't have a lot of information about Jade. As far as medically background, doesn't tell them she's pregnant, but just sort of says, I don't know what to do. Something's wrong. You need to come here. I don't know the address. That's a problem. It took like a minute and a half to figure out what the address was, where he was. But he just, hey, we were hanging out, having dinner. She ate chicken Alfredo. Now she's got this reaction, and she's throwing up. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And that's what we got. So he did call 911 after he called his dad first, which is sort of weird, a little bit. But Silva, we can't do closed captioning because we do very short delay between when I talk and you get it, and YouTube doesn't offer that yet. We would have to. It would break up our ability to talk back and forth to turn on closed captioning. And that's something I value. So I apologize for that. The defense says everyone did it except Blaise. They are trying to just introduce doubt, make everyone else look suspicious. The way he described her on 911 call doesn't match the way that she was found, in my opinion. Yeah, he described her as still breathing. Yeah, she's just having this allergic reaction. Is it hives? Is it throat swelling? Difficulty swallowing? I don't know. Just allergic reaction. A little weird. Did she just move into that apartment? Was that her apartment? Yeah, I think it was her apartment. That's why he didn't have the address. Don't know how new she was there. I think they told us that, how long she'd been living there. at some point earlier, and I didn't make a mental note of that. Need something to connect him to the cocaine. We need to connect the cocaine to somebody, because we're hearing from the state that there's no record of drug use. I'm pretty sure the defense has some information somewhere that counters that. I think he lied about the still breathing claim. One could speculate he freaked out because he knew what he'd done, called his dad, but didn't tell him the truth, and Dad said call 911. Yes, she went from 1 to a 2-bedroom for the baby, so it's got to have been, in the last few months. Who's winning? Well, the state's the only one presenting evidence so far, so usually the state wins at this stage of the trial, but defense has a turn as well. Someone said January, so right when they got back together, she had a new place. How do we know she didn't buy the cocaine from her friend? I need something to connect him to. I imagine the phone dumps are going to be insightful there. But I think the state says there's nothing that shows that she was buying drugs. So we'll see. Maybe it comes out later. My children would definitely call a parent before they call 911. I know some kids who might call me to get the number for 911. I don't know, but there was some noise in the background of this 911 call that made it sound like she was awake. I don't know. It sounded like occasionally a word was said, and I'm not sure if it's on the recording, but it was like focus. Did you hear that word say focus, focus, focus a couple times during the recording? And I'm not sure if the 911 operator said it or something else. It was sort of like weird that way. GM McCarthy World, welcome to the gallery. Thank you, my friend. When in doubt, call 911. Not dead. Yes. When in doubt. All right, we're on break right now. It's going to be just about 7 more minutes or so. Waiting for the connection to. Nothing screams guilty to me. There has to be more, Colburn. For me, I cannot convict with witnesses that say he was acting funny. He just looked suspicious. Something was off. I got his gut feel. Sure, I get those as well, and I'm happy acting on those personally. Like if I'm like, hey, I don't like, I'm walking down the street, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to walk down in front of that house. Just what's going on, the vibe I'm getting, I'm going to turn around and go the other direction. I can act on that. That's different than me saying, yeah, I'm going to vote to convict all those guys, life in prison without parole or death penalty, whatever the case may be. That's a different level. It's a different level of acting. Your intuition might be on point, but it's not something I can base my decision on for this as a juror. Love my own gut feelings, but not my job to trust others. Him not reacting like people say he should. I've watched 5 siblings' reaction when my mother died. Each one was different from the next. It was so wild. Yeah. I don't know how I would act in that situation, right? I don't know what I would do. I know that there have been times I've shown up at a very serious medical emergency. I've been at everything from a discovered death to traffic accidents, and sometimes at the death one I was extremely calm, but a traffic accident I showed up one time and I was like going into shock, and there was no blood. It was just people sitting around on the curb, and my brain just couldn't process it. So I can't judge someone else by how they act on that. And if that's all the state has, a bunch of people saying, yeah, he seemed nervous, like suspicious, like nervous that he was in trouble. Unless he said something, unless there's something that gets me a little further along that line, I can't count that. Very calm in a major emergency situation, says Casey Paralegal, that have happened right in front of me. Then after it's out of my hands, that's when my body shuts down and spirals down. But at the moment, it's autopilot. Yeah. There's got to be more, and I'm with several of you. There's got to be a connection with the drug. That's a lot of cocaine, right? I don't know how much cocaine that would be. It's not like what is it? They sell it in dime bags or something. I'm not sure if there's a bag's worth of cocaine in her drink or what, but there's got to be some source somewhere that says this is where it came from for me to, or, maybe text messages from him. Hey, where can I get some cocaine, buddy? Do you know anybody who uses drugs? I'm looking to buy some. Something like that from his phone would be telling, at least. JT, this is how long it's been since I don't even know the proper terminology about drugs. If they have the link to the blow, that'd be it for me. Casey, if they had the link, do you think we would have heard it by now? This is turning into a circumstantial case that is not very strong at all. Did he put the Coke in the Alfredo sauce? Well, she was the one who was cooking. I haven't seen the Robert Crozer in her charges yet. I need to hear the phone call to Miss Jackson. Coke and caviar share measurement. Can't even find my spoon anymore. I had a spoon somewhere. Strange. Caviar spoon is missing. And that's a clip. No. Where did the glass go? The detective said he was going to go pick up the glass and test it. And then they didn't. A bunch of other people went in there. The way the scene wasn't secured is concerning. It might cost him the case. Coal miner's daughter. It's probably on the floor with the caviar. Is it wrong of me to say I threw the rest of the caviar away? I didn't finish it. According to reports, the glass disappeared. That's suspicious. She stated that the drink tasted funny, so I assumed the drugs were in there. Everyone was happy except him that she was pregnant and having the baby. We have not yet heard the testimony from the friend who overheard the conversation in the background where she said, "What did you put in my drink? It tasted bad. What did you put in it?" We haven't heard that testimony yet. You could have given a neighbor the caviar. There's no neighbor I hate that badly that I would want to give them caviar. I mean, what sort of mean person does that to their neighbor? Especially caviar that I've dropped on the ground. Oh, you missed it, Stacey. I tried the caviar. I gave it a go. You like the caviar? Initially, I'm like, not bad. But then once the burps started, nope. Did it make a cash register cha-ching sound when the caviar hit the trash bag? It made that sound when I purchased it. I can tell you that. There are starving rich people out there. I'd be happier eating Kraft macaroni and cheese than caviar. Need more witnesses? I'm with you, S-Bar, for sure. Give it to your kid. Would cats eat caviar? Maybe it's not. Maybe we'll dig in the garbage and go feed it to Kiki. That would be fun. Let's feed Kiki some caviar. Nobody else tried it in my family. Last night, though, honestly, talking about the detective's audio and the terrible recording quality. Last night, I had a friend reach out to me and say, "Hey, I was just given this, for some of the stuff he does, he's given a tape recorder, a very high-end tape recorder. It's like, I think it's about a $600 voice recorder, like a tape recorder, but it's digital. I think it's OMD 9100 or something like that was the model. And he says it's got buttons all over the place. I used to just use a tape, but I'd click the button and it would spin the wheels, and obviously it's hard to use tapes and the quality is terrible. He says, can you teach me how to use it? And so I pulled up the menu, or the instructions, the manual, and went through it. It's incredible, the quality. I mean, it's got like beam forming technology where it can isolate your voice in the room and eliminate everything else. And, audio recording saves, protecting recordings automatically. And could record for like 98 days straight before you run out of space. It's something. I think the detective needs one of those. A lot of you are faulting me for drinking the milk with the caviar, and I think that would be the best thing. The milk for me is my go-to. It's the palate cleanser. It's everything. Caviar's expensive salts. Yeah. Do we know why they suspect him? Well, you've got the friends that said, "What did you put in my drink? What did you do?"
Polish yoga.
Miss Saul, we did it right at the beginning of the break. We did a quick recap. We're about starting up right now, but not a lot has come in. 911 call, some chain of custody evidence. It's been sort of a slow morning as far as evidence goes. A lot of the testimony has matched what we've heard already, just from a different perspective. Everyone's finding their seats.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, so help you God?
Their oath is just, do you swear the testimony you're about to be the truth, so help you God?
Good morning, Doctor. Could you please state your full name for the record?
Michael Olushoga.
And could you please spell your last name for the court reporter?
Olushoga.
And where are you currently employed?
At Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
And how long have you been employed there?
I started my employment August of 2022.
What is your position at Vanderbilt University Medical Center?
I am an assistant professor in clinical emergency medicine.
And what do your duties include as an assistant professor of emergency? Did you say medicine?
Yes, ma'am, emergency medicine. So, again, I staff the emergency department, and also we're responsible for clinical teaching of residents and medical students.
And as part of those duties, are you a doctor that treats patients that arrive in Vanderbilt's emergency department?
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess, how long have you been in that position?
So I graduated residency in June of 2021, I've been practicing as a board certified emergency medicine provider since then. But I did a residency at the University of Alabama in Birmingham, so I got my MD in 2018.
And what is your educational background before you became an MD?
I have my bachelor's of science and biology from Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee.
And are you board certified?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you hold any other certifications?
No, just in emergency medicine.
Approximately how many patients would you say that you've treated in the emergency department?
I can't put an exact number on it, but on average shift, I'm seeing 2.3 patients an hour, and my average shift's around 9 to 12 hours, so I can't put an exact number on it, but it'll probably be in the thousands at this point.
would proffer Dr. Olashoga as an expert in emergency medicine.
No objection, Your Honor. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Dr. Olashoga will be allowed to give an expert opinion based on his training and experience that a lay witness wouldn't be allowed to give. You can place such weight upon his testimony as you choose to.
I love how he says, I can't give an exact number, but I see
Dr.
2.3 patients per hour.
Please describe when you're working in the emergency department and a patient comes in, how does it get assigned to a doctor to treat that patient?
It depends on bed availability mostly, especially if every emergency department is different. But in our emergency department, if you're very critical and need a bed, whatever's available and what's open is what you're given. Yeah, essentially.
And is it just, are you the only person there, or is there a treatment team that's in place?
There, at Vanderbilt, we have different teams. So we have a total of 4. There's Team Nash, Team Parton, Team Lawson, and Team Lewis. And 2 teams are on the A pod and B pod. The A pod, which is the pod I was working, it was Nash and Lewis. Yeah, and the B pod is the other one, Parton and Lawson.
And were you working in your position on February 25th of 2023?
Yes, I was in the Nash team on overnight shift.
And did you treat a specific patient, Miss Jade Tristan Benning?
Yes.
And in preparation for testifying in this trial, have you reviewed her medical records?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time I would ask that the witness be handed 2 large binders.
Okay.
Just any 2 binders? Or do you have a specific 2 you want to give him?
Dr. Olashuga, have you been able to review the records that are in the 2 binders that were just handed to you?
Yes.
And did you verify that those are the medical records of Jade Benning from Vanderbilt University Medical Center and her admission that began the night of February 25th, 2023 until March 6th of 2023?
Yes.
And is it approximately 1,331 pages of medical records?
Yes, I'm seeing 1,327, but...
That's a lot.
Yes.
1,327.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time I would ask that the 2 binders of medical records be made the next numbered exhibit, but I would ask that this witness be allowed to retain the exhibit for reference during his
Okay,
testimony.
we'll mark them when we're finished as the exhibit 10.
No objection, Your Honor.
10?
Yeah, no objection.
Okay.
Dr. Olashuga, if you need to reference a particular page of the medical record in order to answer the questions, please feel free to do so. Can you please describe Jade Tristan Benning? What was your first interaction with her? Did you see her as a patient and or did you receive information about her prior to her arrival to your emergency department?
So I did receive information prior to our arrival. We have an EMS radio that's located on the A pod, the pod I was working. And from my recollection, the EMS crew, they typically call in, especially if there's an emergency or even if they have any questions about a case. And I just remember that they said they had a young female who was in cardiac arrest, and they had tried some acute cardiovascular life-saving stuff, but weren't able to get a return of spontaneous circulation, and that they'll be here in a few minutes. So when I heard that...
I stop you right there.
Yes,
Can you explain what a return of spontaneous circulation is?
Yeah, so that's usually abbreviated as ROSC, but that essentially is when a patient's able to have a heartbeat, essentially, or function of something, of some sort. Typically, it's a heartbeat, a pulse, a cardiac rhythm, a blood pressure, vital signs. Those are all signs of life, so return of spontaneous circulation.
And you said that you had information that EMTs were attempting to get that ROSC back.
Yes.
Were they able to prior to Ms. Benning entering your emergency department?
Not from my initial assessment of the patient. She was still clinically dead upon arrival to the ER.
And I'm sorry, did you say she was clinically dead?
Yeah, like from my clinical assessment, there were no signs of life upon her arrival to the emergency department.
And when she arrived, can you describe kind of what was she on?
From what I remember, she went to one of our resuscitation bays, T4. She was still on the EMS stretcher receiving CPR. She was, like from my exam, unresponsive. Pupils were fixed and dilated, no spontaneous respirations. She had a supraglottic airway in place, the eye gel, so they were breathing for her and they were doing chest compressions on her.
And can you explain kind of what does that mean when someone's pupils are fixed and dilated? Medically, what does that tell you about their condition?
It's concerning that there is significant neurologic damage. Your pupils constrict on their own. That's not something that you do purposefully. So when that reflex is gone, that's a concern that there's been significant neurologic damage and also that person is not alive.
And can you describe, I guess, like her physical temperature?
She was cool. Her skin was cool. She was also mottled, like kind of cyanotic, which means she was kind of blue, which are all signs of hypoxia, which means lack of oxygen. But all clinical signs pointing that she was dead upon arrival to the ER.
Did you have any information as to whether or not Ms. Benning was pregnant or not pregnant?
So that information did come across the radio as well, that she was pregnant, but they did not know how many weeks she was.
So they knew she was pregnant, but they didn't know how far along?
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell just by looking at her that she was pregnant?
I could tell only by palpating her stomach that she had, essentially you could feel the fundus of her uterus, which is the top of her uterus. And why that's important is it has to be above the umbilicus, which is her belly button, which tells me that she's roughly greater than 20 weeks. It's not an accurate measurement, but that's what we're taught in medical school.
And kind of going back to what you said, that her pupils were fixed and dilated, and that was indicative of significant neurological damage. Do you have a full assessment of her neurological capabilities at that point on admission, or is that something that you learn more about as you're treating?
You learn more about it as you're treating, because essentially when somebody comes in and dead, you do a quick assessment because the priority is maintaining perfusion, which is chest compressions, making sure the blood's going to the brain, vital organs, and in this case, the fetus, as you continue to resuscitate.
And your assessment of the fetus at that kind of initial stage, what's being done at that point when she first presents to the ER?
So other than just confirming that she was pregnant, not much. When we did know that she possibly could be pregnant, I did call what we call OBET call. We have a OB response team at Vanderbilt, and they were at the bedside in the event that we were able to achieve ROSC. They could also intervene.
And what treatment did you provide to Ms. Benning?
So after she arrived to the emergency department, we continued high quality chest compressions. She was transitioned from the EMS stretcher to our ER stretcher. Chest compressions were continued. Medications were ordered per our ACLS, which is Advanced Cardiovascular Life Support Protocol. And we were able to achieve ROSC, which returned to spontaneous circulation, shadow pulse. She was then intubated,
And after intubation, we essentially got the OB team to evaluate her fetus as we were getting better access. That means better IVs and blood pressure monitoring. And then we then went to CT scan because we were able to get a pulse back. And we were able to admit it to the ICU.
Can you describe, you said that Ms. Benning was intubated. Can you describe what does that mean to intubate a patient?
So when you intubate a patient, essentially you're protecting their airway, meaning you're breathing for them. You're putting the patient on a ventilator. The reason you would do that is because the patient's not breathing for themselves. So essentially you are creating a definitive airway so that oxygen can be delivered and carbon dioxide can be exchanged for the patient.
And can you describe typically when you intubate a patient, I guess, what's the process of how that procedure is done?
Typically, when you intubate a patient who is alive and breathing, you usually administer medications to assist with the intubation. Medications that can either basically help them become more comfortable so that you can pass this tube, because intubation is passing a pretty large tube in their airway in order to facilitate gas exchange on the vent and oxygen delivery. That's the typical process for an intubation.
And did you administer medications when you intubated Ms. Benning?
No, I did not.
And why is that?
Again, from her neurologic exam, she appeared to be basically neurologically devastated. I mean, she didn't need anything because she had no cough, no gag. So essentially, she's not really. The likelihood of her feeling any pain or discomfort is very low. So she was intubated without any medicines.
Did you think that you would achieve a ROSC on Ms. Benning?
Honestly, no. I was very shocked that we were able to get a ROSC on this patient.
And once you were able to have that return of spontaneous circulation with Ms. Benning and she had a heart rate, were you able to see what the baby's heart rate?
Yes, but it was that was done by our OB colleagues, which were already at the bedside. They did a ultrasound and were able to give me a estimated gestational age. But one of their concerns was that the fetus, the heart rate was very low, which is called bradycardia, which is very concerning, and essentially the likelihood of this fetus, continuing to develop was very low. So after I got that clinical information, that then gave me basically allowed me to say, hey, let's get some more CT scans. Typically we avoid imaging in pregnant patients because it can affect the development of a fetus. But knowing that this fetus, the likelihood of this, being what we call viable, we were able to get more information, more scans on the patient.
And the treatment involving Ms. Benning, at any point did you talk to anyone that had any additional information to explain why she came to the emergency room in the condition that she did?
I do remember that during, this process of resuscitation, our social worker was able to reach out to family members that showed up to the emergency department. I don't remember who I spoke to specifically, but there was some mention of possible poisoning by a family member, and that was mentioned, and I do remember that.
And is that something that was mentioned directly to you, or was it provided to you by a social worker or someone else in the hospital?
It was mentioned to me, and from what I can recall. But again, the events of that night but I do remember hearing it specifically from a family member.
And what, if anything, did you do based off of that information?
Again, I reviewed the records. It looks like we had already, labs are already ordered by the resident. I did go back and add some other things, but it looks like the urine drug screen was already ordered, so I didn't have to add that, but I might have added another blood gas. But yeah.
Got to take out that
Dr.
ring.
You said that a urine drug screen was ordered.
Mm-hmm.
If you turn to page 66 of the medical record, were there other specimens that were collected? Specifically, was any of her blood collected?
Page 66. I do see. Yeah, there's like a blood gas.
I think it might actually be 65 and 66.
Yeah.
But it goes into both pages.
Yes. Yes, there's actually a slew of labs that were ordered. Yes.
And what was the collection time for that blood sample?
2230 and 2231 is what I'm seeing here.
And so there's a 2231 blood, is that correct?
Yes.
I think it was, I just order placed it 2230 and then the collection time is 2231.
Yes.
And was there also urine that was collected?
Yes.
And is that documented with its specific time?
Yes, the urine was collected at 22, looks like 2258.
Is that the order and then it's 2259 for the
Yes.
specimen collection?
Yeah, and the specimen was collected at 2259.
And would that be the urine that initial drug screen was run on?
I believe so, yes.
And can you describe, what do you know about that initial drug screen in the ER? Is it testing for anything and everything, or what type of testing is that?
So the urine drug screen that we typically get in ER is a finite amount of substances, but essentially it's testing for like metabolites in the urine. Yeah, so if somebody might have ingested something or using sort of drugs, test for those metabolites. I have the list if you'd like it specifically, but I have the results here.
I think I got the ring to go away.
No, it came back all negative.
And can you describe, you have this woman, she's 24, almost 25 years old. She presents to your emergency department in full cardiac arrest, and you said that she's clinically dead. Is that something commonly seen?
Not in that age group, not usually young pregnant women, no.
And can you describe, based off of, you said that the baby had a low heart rate. Was it a little bit low or was it kind of extraordinarily low?
So the normal fetal heart rate, and what we've been taught from our recollection in medical school, is usually 110 to 160. I think I remember the OB team mentioning that the heart rate was somewhere in the 30s, so it was really, really low.
And have you ever treated a patient that came in under these circumstances where it's a young woman that's pregnant, healthy, full cardiac arrest, and people are saying she's been poisoned?
Not in my career, no.
If I can have just one moment.
Sorry, there was a frequency that was resonating on the microphone. It was called a harmonic, I think, and I was able to find it and turn it off. You'd hear it after he finished speaking.
Dr. Olashuga, did you continue to treat Ms. Jade Benning, or what was kind of the totality of the involvement in her treatment?
Once we were able to establish that she had a blood pressure, labs were rolling in, and we got CT scans. I quickly reviewed the CT scans, and we reached out to the intensive care unit immediately because, she was critically ill, and essentially we did our best to get her to the ICU as soon as possible so she can get the rest of her post-ROS care.
And would you have been the person that would treat her during the time that she was in intensive care unit?
No.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that this witness be handed a single photograph.
Okay.
How long, sir?
Dr. Olashuga, do you recognize what is in that image?
Yeah, it's a vial of blood used for our lab draws.
And do you recognize certain identifying pieces of information on that specific blood draw tube?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time I would ask that that image be entered as an exhibit exhibit. 12.
I would object to you coming in from this particular witness. May I take the witness on board?
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead with that. Just so that.
Judge, I don't have any objection to having it marked for ID,
Okay.
but I would have more questions of this witness.
All right. Go ahead. Be marked for identification.
Thank you. Dr. Olashuga, could you describe specifically, and I need the witness to have the picture back.
Your Honor, I would object to a witness testifying to something that has not been entered into evidence.
Okay. Well, he viewed it. You have questions?
It's 15.
I have specific questions of the specific things on the label that he recognizes from Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
Okay. All right. He can show you that. He can see.
May I take the witness on board, Doctor, please, Your Honor?
It's getting spicy. This defense attorney is spicy.
Doctor, is it Olashuga?
Yeah.
Dr. Olashuga, were you the individual who in fact collected that blood?
No, I did not collect that blood sample.
Were you the individual who labeled that blood?
No, I'm not the individual that labeled the blood.
Prior to looking at this particular photograph, had you ever seen that vial of blood before?
That specific vial of blood? No, not necessarily, no ma'am.
And so do you have any personal knowledge whatsoever in regards to that particular vial of blood?
Oh, she's good.
That particular vial of blood? No.
That's...
Again, Your Honor,
So what are you wanting to ask if he doesn't know what that vial is?
I would simply like him
Just
to
like
explain.
protocol or common.
I would simply like for him to explain what a stat name is, because there is information
Okay,
on
we can
there
do that without the photos. Go ahead.
Okay. Dr. Olashuga, you viewed that photo, correct?
Yes.
Can you describe, did it look familiar to you?
Yeah, it looks familiar to me.
I would object to this witness testifying to a photo that has not been entered into evidence.
Are photos taken of blood vials?
You mean, I guess what's the, specifically, I'm not sure what
Have you
you're
ever
saying.
seen a photo like this before?
Not a photo, but I've seen blood vials. So.
Okay. What is your next question?
Does it contain Ms. Benning's medical record number on the vial? Do
Yes.
you recognize that?
Your Honor, I object.
Do you know her medical record number?
It's written right here on the, yeah.
Okay. All right, let him see the photo.
Your Honor, may I have a ruling in regards to my objection?
You can look at the photo and see if that's the same medical record. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
May I have a ruling to that, Your Honor?
I said he can do that.
Is that overruled?
Go ahead, General Norman.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you recognize Ms. Benning's medical record number from the medical records you have in front of you? Is it also printed on that vial of blood?
Yes.
And you just testified to a collection time of 2:25:23 at 22:31. Do you also recognize that very specific date and time?
Yes.
Your Honor, I object again to that line of questioning.
Are you going to call a witness that lets us know who collected this?
It's in the medical records who collected it, but
Are you going to call another witness about this photo?
I am. I'm going to
Okay.
call Dr. Carney.
Okay.
May I have a ruling, Your Honor?
What's your question that you want to ask the witness?
Dr. Olashuga, there is a stat name on that label. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor.
Have a seat.
May I have a ruling, sir?
Have a seat.
Oh, that was your ruling.
Can you
Sit
explain
down.
what that means?
Yeah, stat names are basically John Doe or Jane Doe names we give patients who are arriving to the emergency department. It allowed, because in a medical center, errors happen, and the way we prevent those errors is allowing the same system to happen every single time. So we arrive patients under the stat name so that we can place orders, because nothing gets done in the hospital without orders being put in by a provider or by anybody taking care of the patient.
Did you give Ms. Benning a stat name?
I'm not responsible for giving the stat names, but our flow nurse gives the stat names.
So what's your next question?
Dr. Olashoga, do you know whether or not Ms. Benning was given a stat name during her ED visit?
Yeah, and it's in my note as well. If you can look at the page 56, when patients are given a stat name, their whole chart reads their stat name until they're matched.
And what stat name was she given?
Stat February, Mayonet, VUH.
It was what?
Stat.
I can't hear what you're saying. You'll speak up.
Mayonet, VUH, Stat February.
Mayonet. What was the rest of it?
Stat February.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just a couple, Your Honor. Are all of the specimen collections from Ms. Benning, are they documented in the medical record?
Yes, from what I reviewed, they're all documented in the medical record.
Thank you. And can you turn to page 562 of the medical record? I believe it's in binder number 1.
562, that's halfway through the medical record. May I have a ruling, Your Honor? Sit down. There's your ruling.
I'm there.
And do you see that there is an entry for fentanyl on 2/25/23 at 23:27?
Yes.
And are you aware whether or not that fentanyl was administered to Ms. Benning?
Looks like it was not administered. I was aware that it was wasted by the provider.
And so that was not given to her, correct?
It was not given to her.
Can you turn to page 727, which is in binder number 2?
But did they bill her for it? Oh man, you ruined that binder. Sir. It's a D-ring binder.
I'm there.
And there is an entry related to fentanyl, and it indicates a date and time of 2/26/23 at 0041.
Yes.
Is that when Ms. Benning was first dispensed and also administered fentanyl?
Yes, according to the medical record, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Olashoga. I don't have any other questions.
He's fixing it. That's good. But now let's hear Cross. This could be spicy too. The Alaska trial, the judge is now reading the jury instructions to the jury prior to closing arguments and deliberations up there. That's over live on our Top Mark Media channel. Could have a verdict today.
Good morning, Dr. Olashoga. I didn't introduce myself before, but I am Letitia Quinones-Hollins, and I just have very few questions for you.
Made an introduction, though.
I want to first draw your attention in regards to what you stated as it relates to the fentanyl, so that we're clear. I think you testified that it was not first administered in the hospital until when?
I testified that, according to the medical record, she did not receive fentanyl in the emergency department until February 26, 2023, at 0041. That's when it was ordered, it looks like.
That's when it was ordered?
Yeah, and it was started at February 26, 23rd, 0045.
Was that ordered by you?
It was not ordered by me. It was ordered by looks like a provider, Paul Francois.
Thank you. I want to now draw your attention to page 117. And specifically, I would like to draw your attention down to the bottom where it states recommendations. You see that?
Yes, ma'am.
And particularly, I would like to draw your attention to line 4 under recommendations. Could you read that for the jury, please?
Yes, it says recommend contacting police to conduct drug facilitated crime testing since no chain of custody testing available at UBUMC.
Do you know what that means?
Nope, I do not.
So, but you just stated that the record just says you would recommend that police to conduct drug facilitated crime testing because BUMC has no chain of custody.
This is a note by another provider, but that's what I read, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's a note by another provider just like the note that you previously read in regards to the fentanyl being administered?
No, that is the MAR, that's the medical record. So that's the medicines that were given. That's different than this. This is a provider note.
Do you know who the provider is that provided that?
Yeah, it says here is Dr. Bucalari.
Do you know who Dr. Bucalari is?
I've spoken to her over the phone. She's one of the toxicologists in Tennessee. So if you ever have a tox case, you have to talk to the Poison Control Center. So I've spoken to her over the phone regarding another patient, another case.
Does she work for BUMC?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I just know I've called her, toxicologist, and I called her.
Had you called her in this particular case?
Nope.
Did you not have any reason to call her in this particular case?
Not necessarily, because I don't know what I was dealing with, you know?
So is that a no?
No, not yet. Yeah, no, I don't have any.
Okay. I would now like to draw your attention, if I may, to page 132.
Our attention is getting drawn all over the place.
And you see where it states hospital course?
Yes.
And within that paragraph under hospital course, I believe it says per EMS report, she was found in PEA arrest and CPR was initiated for approximately 30 minutes prior to arrival. She received 4 rounds of epi and ROCS was achieved in Vanderbilt. And I think you just described to the jury what ROSC means, I'm sorry. And could you tell us one more time exactly what is ROSC?
Again, ROSC, return of spontaneous circulation, is when the patient gets a heartbeat or signs of life.
And so it says it still remains unclear if patient was found in PEA arrest or if she went into PEA arrest during transport. There have been discrepancies in multiple histories. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see that.
Do you know whether or not that issue was ever resolved?
No, and because again, this is after I saw her in the emergency department, so I have no bearing on what's written by the ICU.
Okay, so you can't answer that question.
I can't.
Okay, thank you. I would now like to draw your attention to page 410. Could you help explain to the jury on 410 where it says comprehensive cardiac NGS panel inconclusive?
Again, I'm not familiar with that lab. Again, this is not something I would order from the emergency department.
So you can't help us with that either?
No, ma'am. Unfortunately, I can't.
Could you tell the jury what is cardiac NGS panel?
Again, I cannot explain that. I don't order that routinely from the emergency department.
So you don't know what a cardiac NGS panel is?
I do not know what a cardiac NGS panel is.
Thank you. And then if you look down a little further, it says testing performed by, and it says 123 Cerner, VUMC Cerner Lab. But then the valid date range says 11/23 of 21 through present. That would have been about a year and a half prior to this date. Do you know why that would state a date a year and a half prior?
I do not know why that would read that way.
Okay. And is that related to some lab at VUMC?
I wouldn't be able to give you any information on that. Unfortunately, it's not something I'm familiar with.
So you don't know what VUMC Cerner Lab is?
Frankly, no, I don't.
Thank you.
This is clearly the wrong guy for these questions.
Now, you stated that the baby was not viable, is that right?
I stated that after a conversation with the OB provider, they deemed that this pregnancy will not be viable.
Do you know then, can I ask you or draw your attention to page 126?
I'm there.
And would you take a moment to read 126, starting from the first paragraph there where it says they have heard? I mean, you don't have to read it out loud. I just want to ask you a question in regards to it. I think it's unfair if I don't give you the opportunity to read it.
Thank you.
Do you see there where the OBGYN team ultimately had to contact the ethics service?
Yes.
Have you ever in your career had to contact ethics when you are performing medical services?
Yes.
And for what purpose would that be?
Typically is when there's usually difficult end-of-life conversations that need to happen, and when there's not like a delineated, when there's like not a will or a designated power of attorney, sometimes I would have to call ethics to help me delineate what's the right thing to do, or what's the lawful thing to do as well.
And do you see there that there were several conversations that were had in regards to life-saving measures for the fetus?
Yes.
And do you also see that there were apparently decisions made that, given the circumstances, there was an expressed desire to not get a C-section or anything of the sort to attempt to save the fetus?
Could you repeat that?
Yes. Do you see in the document and the record here that there was a decision made by the next of kin or the representative for Ms. Benny for there not to be any life-saving measures for the fetus?
Again, what I do see here and what I'm reading is that there was a decision that was made that was consistent. It says as what they will feel Jade would make for herself based on chart and documentation and prior conversations. That's what I'm seeing here.
And that's the reason why the decision made. But my question was, do you see that there was a decision made?
Yeah, I mean, it sees that what I do see is that there was a conversation here with the provider, with the family about a possible decision to do a C-section, and looks like they chose not to. That's what I'm seeing here.
And then you see then that as a result of that, VUMC contacted clinical ethics services.
I couldn't say as a result of, but I do see in this documentation here that there was a discussion that was had with ethics. I can't say that that was because of that. I can't make that connection myself.
But you will agree with me that it's directly related in regards to this paragraph talking about the child in that decision.
Yeah, that is a possibility, yeah.
Do you know whether or not Mr. Taylor was ever consulted in regards to the decision regarding that fetus?
Again, I work in the emergency department. I was not privy to any of this care after the emergency department.
Do you see within, if you'll go back to page 125, right above consultation, you'll see that the mother's surrogate decision maker was Bridget, which is Jade's mother. Father and step parents were present for this consultation and shared decision making. Do you see Blaise Taylor's name anywhere there for the decision making?
No, ma'am, I do not read that in this chart.
Okay, thank you.
Defense is trying to blame the family for the death of the unborn child by their decision, and that is wrong. That is wrong.
And I'm going to mess up the name, that's why I'm trying to find it, but perhaps you can help me. Are you familiar with the specific drug named Seseclium? It is a drug that is utilized to help with intubation.
Could you spell it out for me?
SUCC.
Oh, succinylcholine. Yeah.
Thank you, succinylcholine.
Yeah.
I'm always happy because names are challenging. Do you know whether or not that was utilized in order to assist in the intubation of Ms.
Asked and
Benny?
answered.
No, she did not get that medicine in the ER.
It is your testimony that she did not receive that medication?
To my knowledge, no.
Is it to your knowledge, or is it your testimony that she did not?
It's my testimony that she did not.
And the reason that I asked is because you had stated earlier that there was no need, I think you stated, for.
Yes, ma'am.
And the only reason, tell us why you would utilize that medication.
Again, typically patients who are alive and breathing, they usually still have reflexes because their brain stem is intact. So even if somebody's alive and breathing and unconscious, and you need to, protect their airway with an intubation, if you were to insert a blade into their mouth in order to lift up the tongue and epiglottis to look at the vocal cords to insert the tube, they'll gag, cough, there'll be vomit, and it'll obscure your airway. So typically what you do is you give an induction agent and a paralytic. Usually etomidate is an induction agent, succinylcholine is a paralytic, in order to make sure that they can tolerate the procedure. But again, she did not have any signs of life, was neurologically devastated. She had no cough, no gag, no pupillary reflex. She was intubated without any medications.
Thank you. Can I now draw your attention to State's Exhibit number 5? May the witness have State's Exhibit number 5? You have it in front of you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Doctor. And Dr. Olashaga, I want to take you to the section where it says narrative. On the first page.
Yes, I see it.
Do you see that?
Yes.
Then I would like for you to go down to 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down.
Okay.
And specifically to start at the sentence, the patient's boyfriend. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please read that sentence for the jury?
Yeah. It says the patient's boyfriend stated the patient was 4 months pregnant. No other medical information was obtainable.
Okay. You can stop there. Thank you. And do you see that this is in fact a report from NFD, Nashville Fire Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you see the name of the individual who authored this report?
I see
crew member.
Andrea Agrawal.
Okay. And so you see there where it actually states that the boyfriend, in this case who would be Mr. Taylor, actually did tell the fire department just how pregnant Miss Benning was, according to the statement you
He
just
just
read.
read it, so he didn't know anything else.
Thank you. And then, if you would turn the page, sir. And doctor, if you could look under where it says vitals.
Yes.
And do you see the section where it says CO2?
Yes.
What is that?
So end-tidal CO2 is another, basically it's another, I wouldn't call it a vital sign, but it's an indication of the quality of your chest compressions. Basically, again, you breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon dioxide. So if you're doing good quality chest compressions, your end-tidal CO2 should be high because you're breathing out carbon dioxide. If you're doing terrible chest compressions, it'll be low, which means that you're not doing a good job circulating oxygen with your compression. So that's another marker of how good is your resuscitation, how good are your chest compressions. And also if you have like an airway, because if it's super high, could it be that your airway is in the stomach and is picking up gas from the stomach? So it's just a marker of how good is your resuscitation.
Meaning how good you're breathing, how good oxygen is coming in, correct?
Not how good oxygen is coming out, it's how good are your, and in this case, if it's used appropriately, how good are you circulating oxygen? Are you picking up that CO2 with your, once you're doing your bagging? Like how good is the CO2 coming off?
Okay.
Yeah.
You say the CO2 coming off. Coming off of what?
Usually the end-tidal is connected to the BVM, the bag that they use in the bag the patient. So it's connected to the tube that's going into her throat. Yeah.
But these are things that are measured on Miss Benning's. Would you agree?
That's what it appears to be from this document, yeah.
And if you look at those numbers, specifically the numbers 69, 70, 113, 99, 100, 93, 93, 86, and 80. Those would be good quality numbers, would you agree?
They're high, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then finally, I want to talk to you about someone's, specifically Ms. Benning. If she was described as having the ability to say things like, you've put something in my drink. Nye, Keontae. In other words, she's pronouncing words. Some of them labored, some of them not. If a person is able to talk, would you agree with me that they would have to be coherent?
Not necessarily, because drunk people can talk and they're not coherent sometimes.
Well, maybe I'm not saying that right. If a person is able to enunciate words, would you equate that to someone who is dead?
No, typically not.
Would you equate that to someone who is completely non-responsive?
No, if they're able to enunciate words, I would not equate that with that.
Would you equate that to someone who is able to breathe?
Actually, yeah, some people who are not able to speak are still able to breathe. Yeah.
But someone who is able to speak surely is able to breathe.
Yeah, typically, yeah.
And that's all I have for you. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
See if there are any objections here.
Dr. Olashuga, I'm going to kind of start with the last thing that she talked to you about and go backwards. Can you go to page 562?
I'm there.
And Ms. Collins was asking you, or page 562, that's the page that we referenced with the 2327 on 22523 fentanyl that Nurse Alyssa Smith that was dispensed, but it was not administered.
Yes, it looks like it was wasted, yes.
And can you turn to page 567?
For you RNs, what does it mean when it's wasted? Was it billed to her and not administered, or what?
On page 567, is there an entry for the medication that Ms. Holland was asking you about?
Yeah, I see it.
And is that time the same time as when the fentanyl was not administered?
No, it says this was administered. This was ordered at 2:26:23 at 12:15 a.m. That's when it was ordered, and the fentanyl looks like it was the day before, so 2:25:23 at 11:27 p.m.
Okay, so those are two separate things, correct? And so,
Question said the medicine Ms. Hollins asked about.
yes,
Why don't we clear what that is?
SUCCINYLCHOLINE. And how do you pronounce that again, Dr.
Succinylcholine.
Thank you. And so that was administered at a much later time at 2:26:00:15, correct?
Yes.
And also, if you look down to entries, there are entries for fentanyl, which coincide with when the fentanyl was actually administered to Ms. Benning. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you did not order those medications, correct?
No.
And so if they were administered after she went into the ICU, is that surprising to you?
No, it's not surprising.
And if you can go to page 125 and 126.
Here.
And can you look at, it begins on 125 and then the consultation number 2, it gives a description. Can you just read that silently to yourself? And you weren't involved in that neonatal consult, correct?
No, I was not.
At the top of page 126, there's a reference that multiple providers have advised the family that sustained a noxic injury given the arrest impact on mother's neurological status, and they agree with that concern. The doctor says, I agree with that concern. And they say we do know the fetus appears to have been affected by the peri-arrest fetal heart rate in the 40s.
Yes.
And on your direct testimony, when I was asking you questions, you said that because the fetus is...
Object to the leading nature of the questions.
What is your question?
Can you explain what you know about the fetus's heart rate being as low as you described?
What I do know is that when you have a low heart rate, especially in a fetus, that is not that means the chance of viability of that pregnancy is low. So that means that the fetus is going to have a lot of issues and it's not going to make it.
And that note indicates that multiple providers are saying that, correct?
Okay. What is your non-leading question?
And I'm going to also object to this particular doctor opining on the fetus when he stated before that he had nothing to do with
Okay, well, you can recross if you want to. What is your question?
I don't have any other questions regarding this issue, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Dr. Olashuga, can you go to page 59 of the medical record?
I'm there.
And can you describe what time did Ms. Benning arrive in your emergency department?
At 22:06.
And can you describe specifically when you intubated her?
She was intubated upon arrival, so around 22:06 as well.
And so that is what time she got to the emergency department, correct?
Yes. Usually there might be a little lag just because of nursing, charting and stuff, but that's, yes, around that time.
So 22:06, 22:07.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Some recross. It's getting spicy.
Just a few brief questions, Dr. Olashuga.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to take you back to page 126.
Come here.
If you go down to the first paragraph, line 8, starting with I offered.
Yeah.
Could you read that sentence to the jury, please?
Yeah.
Is this him saying this?
It's a record that's in evidence, Your Honor.
Is this him saying this?
No, it is not. Can you please read that?
It is. You made it an exhibit, so you haven't read anything you want.
I actually wasn't allowed to.
I didn't object to her
Is
reading.
this asking about an opinion that you were objecting to?
No, it's not asking about an opinion. It's asking about a position and an offer that is a record, that is an exhibit, that is in evidence that I'm asking to read. Could you just read that sentence, please?
Okay, it says, I offered intervention in the form of delivery resuscitation with the goal of having an opportunity to evaluate Peanut for potential impact, and they have felt that intubation and resuscitation could cause unnecessary suffering. They feel.
Thank you. And then you stated on direct examination that substantial clothing, did I say that right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You stated that it wasn't given to her at all on direct examination, did you not?
Yes, for intubation. I did not give that medicine.
No, I didn't ask if you gave it. I asked, was it given? And you said no.
I said, to my knowledge, it wasn't given for my intubation.
I thought I clarified if it was to your knowledge or if it was given at all.
Do you have another question or do you want to argue?
So that was, in fact, That medication was given, wasn't it?
According to the medical record, it was given and it was prescribed by another provider. Again, I had nothing to do with that.
And again, can you tell us what succinylcholine is?
It's a paralytic.
And it is utilized for what?
It's utilized for multiple things, but in my profession, I usually use it for intubations. But it's used for other things. Sometimes it can be used when patients are having trouble ventilating. So if you're on a ventilator and you're moving or jerking, sometimes it can be given for that, or it can even be given for like CT scan. Because if you need a CT scan, you need to be still. So sometimes they do that as well. But there are multiple reasons for the medication.
Can a person be still if a person is non-responsive and in a coma, aren't they still?
Not necessarily. You can also have like seizures, especially after a cardiac arrest when you have a neurologic injury. It's not uncommon that patients have a lot of seizures. So yeah, they can have seizures.
So are you stating to this jury that that's why this medication was given at this time?
No, ma'am. I'm saying to the jury that succinylcholine has multiple uses.
Can you see there why it was given?
I do not see here why it was given specifically, no, ma'am.
So you can't say that it wasn't given for intubation?
I can say it wasn't given for intubation because I did the intubation and we did not give her any medicines for intubation.
Good.
And it's a one-time procedure. It's not something that happens again because the tube's in her throat. So it's not taken out, put it back in again.
But it is a paralytic?
Yes, succinylcholine is a paralytic.
Okay, and it is to help patients not to feel something?
Nope, it's to help the procedure, a procedure. Again, it's to paralyze the muscles. In the case of intubation, it can be used for that, but there are multiple uses for succinylcholine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize if I can have just one brief follow-up. Dr. Olashika, can you turn to page 119?
Both sides want the final say on this. And sometimes this little battle can get a little testy.
I'm here.
Midway through the page of 119, there's a blue line that says history, and underneath that it has a reason for a consult.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain, do you know what that reason for consult is?
It reads myoclonic jerks and anoxic brain injury. The reason for consult.
Can you describe what is the myoclonic jerk?
Yeah, so like myoclonic jerk is essentially like it's like, best way I can describe it is it's just an involuntary movement of like your extremity typically, but it can happen anywhere. You can have it in your face, you can have it as an involuntary jerking motion. Yeah.
And is that one of the reasons that they might get that medication?
Yeah. Yeah, especially if the jerks are uncontrollable. Sometimes you have to paralyze the patient, unfortunately. But yeah, especially if you want to do like an EEG, which is like encephalogram, where they check for any seizure-like activity, which is very common after a cardiac arrest. They try to do further evaluation as the quality of the brain and all that stuff.
Thank you.
One last question.
One last question.
She wants the final say.
Can you tell this jury that that is why succinylcholine was given to Ms. Bennett?
I cannot. I don't know why it was given.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you, sir. You can leave all of that there and we'll get it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, members of the jury, we're going to break for lunch. Remember what I said about all the admonitions, not discussing the case before we need an opinion about it. We'll get back here at 1:20 or so. You can step down the hall.
Can't believe we're only 2 days into this trial. It's already heating up. I want to hear more from the female defense attorney. She wants to fight. She wants to fight this out.
Okay, you have a seat. Who would the next witness be?
It's going to be Lauren Weber.
Trying to anticipate things, asking this because of what's already been asked. Can either side explain to me whether the family's decision not to have a C-section is relevant?
No, Your Honor, I do not think it's relevant.
If I may, Mr. Taylor is charged with causing the death of the fetus as well. So anything that could affect the fetus's viability and or
You're going to
life.
argue to this jury that the fetus may have lived if it had a C-section.
I don't know what the evidence is going to come out to be.
I'm talking about that's your purpose for asking that.
That was the purpose for me asking the question.
Judge is saying, State, you should have objected there on relevance, and I would have granted.
Sometimes I give advice to lawyers, but I won't here in this case. Sorry,
Thank
you.
There you go. Sometimes I give advice to lawyers, but I won't in this case. State, you should have objected on relevance grounds. There's your notice. Wow. All right, we have 1 hour before we come back from lunch. We have a 1 hour break here. We already have a portal set up. We're going to come back for this afternoon testimony as we're on. So a new witness. The state's still delivering its case in chief. Should take about a week for the state to give all of its evidence. So maybe the end of this week they're wrapping up, or possibly early next. And then, of course, defense, if they choose to, gets their turn. So that is, I think that's a dirty trick. You've got the family, okay, who is in a terrible situation. Their daughter is non-responsive, is clinically dead, brain dead, in the hospital. She's being sustained by machines, but there's just no activity there, and they're having to make one of the most difficult decisions of their life about unplugging the machines. And as part of that, her being pregnant, there are 2 lives at stake potentially. They are given advice from the best doctors who would know, including the OBGYN, that the baby is basically in the same state the mom is. And now defense is asking these questions about the medical care and what was decided regarding an emergency C-section, trying to take the baby from the mom as the mom's dying to try to save the baby's life, and putting that back on the family and trying to say it's their fault. They could really be the ones at fault for the baby dying, not my client. That's a risky argument to make in front of a jury, I think. Especially, that's a tough one. But she's arguing. I still like her. I still like the defense attorney. I love that she is fighting so hard for her client. I like to see that in every case. But as the judge said, I'm not going to give any advice to attorneys. Object next time on irrelevance. We won't go there. So. All right, it is time for lunch, so we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to come back in a little bit. Up in Alaska, they're giving closing arguments right now. Let's see.
One call, and I don't think my audio is going to work here, but...
And they're having tech problems, too. So over on Top Mark Media, if you want to go listen into that during the lunchtime, we're not going to portal there. We're going to portal to the afternoon show here, so we're going to stick with this case. But that case is going to be in jury verdict watch here soon, and possibly a quick verdict. Some people who've watched that case say, yeah, that's an easy one. I have not watched it all. We've televised it all. We're on the media pool. Thanks for the court for granting all those requests. But if you want to follow that case, we've had the whole thing up there on Top Mark Media, clean with no commentary. So tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again.
Remember in the beginning when we started 110 years ago?
Laura, till we go live again after lunch. After lunch, we'll be back at 2:15 Eastern Time. That is 50 minutes from right now. That'll be 5 minutes before the court comes back, and we'll follow this through the rest of the day. I have my TED Talk to do tonight. So if you have a 12 to 17-year-old boy who is interested in YouTube, please give me advice on what I should say to them or what I should bring to teach them about what I do for a living. So thank you all. Have a great lunch. We'll see you.